3 billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the War Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vinand Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst. We're at the beginning.
We are at the beginning of a live stream for Neil.
Yay,
Happy birthday,
Neil.
Neil.
We turn this down. Turn this down. I think the background music is a little bit overpowering.
I didn't have it on, so I didn't know. So, Neil has decided, was this the 4th year or the 3rd year?
I think it's year 3 now for the big homie.
I mean, it's definitely 3. Happy birthday, Neil. He's sharing another birthday with us. And we are at the beginning of a 7-song stream, a 7-song birthday stream. So let's get into it. I'm not sure if he has any write-ups that he wants us to read. The first song on his birthday jam is Danko Jones, Do You Wanna Rock? Man, a few words. No, here it is. Welcome to my birthday live stream, he said. Since I was teased for picking some dark and disturbing tracks to celebrate last year, I decided on a more appropriate theme for this year. I'm calling this my birthday jams. Live stream. The songs I have featured are songs that I would listen to either get ready for a night out partying or even, and even have playing while entertaining friends. Okay. We're going to get to see a little sneak peek of a different side of Neil.
Yes, sir, Bobbert.
It's so funny. Neil, seriously, like, you were getting categorized as just, like, dark types of music, so I'm very interested.
Hey, I loved it, Neil. I love the dark shit. Hey, there's darkness and everything.
Yes, but this means just character development. We see that he plays different music when he's going to party or have friends over. Most of what I have featured will be rock or heavy metal songs, as they generally have the high energy to get me excited for a night out. We're starting the night off with a Canadian hard rock staple, Danko Jones, a band that embraces the rock and roll ethos to a T. Enjoy. Okay, Danko Jones, Do You Wanna Rock?
Do you wanna rock? All right, here
we do.
That's why we came here, losers. All right, here we go. Danko Jones, song number 1. Do you wanna rock? Send me the.
Time. When your body tells you move exactly when you're told to. Don't slip, don't whip it, don't slip. I guarantee the sticks. I'm on a roll, I can't stop. Gotta ask you something. Do you wanna rock? My son don't asking, but I like to watch child drop. Kinda gets me going. You wanna come along and we kinda get it on. Get up, get off, get out, let's get it on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna rock? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna rock? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna rock? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna? Everybody's watching us, and you're the only one I trust. I never wanna leave you, I always wanna see you. The music's gonna stop, so do you wanna rock? I gotta go, kinda wanna hit the block. Gotta find out something. Do you wanna rock? Cause it begs asking once I stop, I can't not stop. Gotta keep on moving. You wanna come along? Am I coming on strong? Get up, get off, get out, let's get it on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna rock? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna rock? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna rock? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do you wanna? Everybody's watching us, and you're the only one I trust. I never wanna leave you, I always wanna see you. The beat is calling us, I never wanna get enough. Everybody's watching us, and you're the only one I trust. I never wanna leave you, I always wanna see you. The music's gonna stop, so do you wanna rock?
I can tell.
Everybody's watching us, and you're the only one I trust. I never wanna leave you, I always wanna see you. The beat is calling us, I never wanna get enough. Everybody's watching us, and you're
Yo,
All right.
I
fun.
really like this.
Okay, short story.
Salute. Shout out to Applejack.
Short story. When we first did the stream like years ago for Neil, you knew this, but you ended up getting stuck on my. I bookmarked Facebook. I was learning how to bookmark everything, so I bookmarked Facebook. So the way to get to Facebook, I first would get to your Facebook feed, and then I would go on to do whatever I had to do. Anyway, so one of the pictures that Neil had up was this. You were wearing like this sombrero or something. And I was like, wow, he looks like a really fun and funny guy. And then you sent all those dark songs, and I was like, I guess I misread the homie. But now you put out this song, I'm like, okay, I thought there was some fun there.
That's one aspect of the kid's personality.
I know. I was like, I guess that's
Like
who
you
you
just
are. Well, that's why I
isolate
said,
that part of his personality. That's who you are.
that's why I said character development. We get to see a different side.
Right. He's got the story. That's the kid's always talking about the story arc.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
The big story arc.
Story
All right.
arcs, plot holes. This one was fun. Like, I could definitely see how it's I could see you getting ready to the song. I could also see somebody using this song. I know people don't do the jukebox anymore, but like that sort of idea when everybody, I don't know what happens. I've never been to a club ever.
Jukebox.
Yeah, you remember the jukebox? Like then you go push the buttons and it would play.
This is what they would play in a jukebox?
No, I'm saying like this would be like, I don't know what they do now. Like, do you go up and tell the DJ, can you play a song? Like, I don't know what happens. I've never been to a club. I will go to a club though, just not yet.
We
Anyway.
be clubbing. Everybody likes it when the go. Hey, chill out.
Anyway, I've never been, so I think it sounds really fun. But however you get a song going, this sounds like one that people might want to, especially if somebody else knows. Like when it says everybody's watching us, you're the only one I trust. I never want to leave you. Like it could be a relationship, like romantic relationship, but it could also be like a friendship type thing too.
Yeah.
So like
it could also be like, like sometimes when you go to the club, like. And shit is real chaotic or whatever it is. There is that like one person that like even though you don't have a previous relationship, it's like, well, I trust you. Like you don't look as drunk or as high. Like you look like you see the same
You're
thing.
exercising a little
You look like you see the same thing I'm seeing. So like we can like meander out of here.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily interested in you at all. Just trying to find the lone like lucid person that's not whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was definitely like I don't know, man. There's a lot of heavy shit going on in the world,
There is.
So it's just good to be able to
to just let it loose and just be able to enjoy stuff and each other. So it says, are you ready for the greatest feeling? Are you ready for the time of your lives? First of all, anytime I was going out with my friends, and I'm telling you, like I just said, we never went to a club. We didn't do anything that was actually super thrilling, to be honest with you. But it didn't matter. Like, you get to go out with your friends, whatever it is that you're doing. This is Maine. You're probably just driving around in your car with the music blasting. That's about the sum of it. But if you're doing that, like, you're still thrilled because you're gonna all be getting together, and I'm sure now like people are texting each other and stuff. Back when I was a teenager, I was the only one that had a phone, so you couldn't text your friends.
Oh, you had a cell phone and
yeah,
nobody else
as soon
did?
as I got my license, my parents wanted us to have a phone, so I went and got like this track phone, they called it. It was like this big phone. You pulled the antenna up. Honest to God, I'm not joking you, the antenna was plastic, so I don't think it did anything. I think it was just like for a look.
For
like,
show?
You pulled it up, yeah. Yeah, and it was really, really expensive. But nobody had phones at that point. I was the only one. So it was just like, if you get in trouble, you can call your parents. That was all it was.
You remember that band? So they were on tour with Slipknot. It was a Slipknot show we went to. It was Behemoth, Gojira, Slipknot, and then there was one band and like they did not belong at all. Okay. But
it was something with a V, I think.
Yeah, but they, like they're. I forgot
wanted to say Vortex.
I don't even know the name of the genre of music it is, but like, there was one guitarist and he looked completely disinterested, but the lead singer, he was like really into the show and really into making everybody feel good. Like it was just like
he was. Okay,
yeah, that's what I'm
was
saying. The lead singer guy,
so
the one
like
that gave you the pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that you gave to that woman that then proceeded to put it in her shirt.
Yeah, and then she tried to tell me to get it back. I was like,
he was like, nah. I was like, well, I'm gonna get it back.
I'm like, I understand what this setup is. If I was dumb enough to try to attempt to do that shit, dear listener, that would be the end of your boy.
Stop it. What happened was we kissed during his
Volbeat.
song.
Volbeat, yes.
See, I knew it started with a V.
Yeah.
And I said Vortex. I was a bit close. It was a little bit there.
Their name did not match.
No, it didn't.
Their sound.
It didn't at all.
I'm sorry. They should have called themselves Volleyball or some shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Volby.
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
So anyway, the lead singer, like, there was like a love song or whatever. We were singing like together, and then we kissed or something.
Right.
And so then he threw the pick to us for that moment, and then Vin gave it to the hoarder standing beside us, who was collecting everything. She was.
Wow.
She had multiple.
See what she did there?
She had multiple drumsticks. She had multiple picks, and she had one more item, like a band poster. Everybody at the front wants stuff. Like,
yeah, I know.
I don't even want the stuff when we go. We usually pass it out to everybody around us. The only reason I wanted that one was for the sentimental reason. So as soon as he passed it, of course, then I got angry. Then I told him to get it back. And then he was like, because she had already tucked it in her goods. I was like, give me that, please.
Yeah, she had tucked it in her bads, and so that was the end of that for me. But this band sounds like, I don't know if they don't sound like Volby, probably not, but like it's the same feeling I got when I was looking at the lead singer. It was just like, I think I understand this band. We're just here to have fun. It's rock and roll. It's music. Get your energy going.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there are times to deal, you know, maybe like tonight we'll deal with some heavy shit, I'm sure, probably in one of the selections, but like, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. It's like, it doesn't have to be, you know, but obviously if you're in a band, like Korn could never come out with a song like this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
Wait. You get kind of like painted into a corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need bands like this and Modest Mouse, you know.
I mean,
it's all gonna be.
I agree.
Right,
especially for people who listen to dark stuff, I think this is very important to have a little bit of stuff. He's like, I'm on a roll. I can't stop. I'm sorry, Anthony. He says, oh yeah, sorry. Well, I was the first and only kid in my school who wore neon green pants. I'm sure that went well.
That's some great shit to do, though. To be honest with you.
Yeah, well, were you forced to do it or you chose to do it?
Nah, he did that shit himself. I bet you he was on some gangster shit.
I was forced to wear certain things.
I guarantee he did that by himself because he's on some gangster shit.
Okay.
This is called Plexus. You know, we're all into the health food stuff. We're health food people, so.
We're not selling it.
Yeah, we're not.
we're just using it.
We're just using it. Somebody asked me what it was, so I just said what it was.
Yeah. It's great stuff.
There are people that do sell it, but we swear by it. It works, in our opinion. So,
Yep.
You know how we are with the health food stuff.
So I really enjoyed this one. This one's probably like a.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, it's not.
Pulse of the Maggots is probably the closest you're gonna get to like a hard band that takes itself seriously to a song like this. You know, but it's still like there's still the overlay of like the dark theme. You know what I'm saying? But it's a fun song still. But I guarantee you, like I wish a metal band would do that. Like a band that's still like 3 or 4 records deep and they're like taken very serious. Like if Gojira.
Oh, yeah, and
can you imagine if Gojira decided we're gonna do a party record? You know what I'm saying?
They all should do a party record.
Like there should be like a genre like party metal. It should be like party metal where like, because I guarantee
every band should have one party song.
I guarantee you we could come up, like if we had an entire lane of just party metal, we could come up with some fun shit, man. Like some real fun shit. But it would probably wreck people's houses and shit, but you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would ruin your lives. Everybody's watching us. And you're the only one I trust. Okay, so also I like the part where he was saying.
This is what Neil was saying. Like, you're not gonna throw up on me, so this is gonna work. You see what I'm saying?
What happened? What?
Like, what Neil was saying, like, you're not gonna throw up on me. This is gonna work. You're the only one I trust. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I also like the part where he says, where he's asking them if they want to join, and he was like, because I just like to. He just wants to rock. So he's like. And he likes to see people, like, going for it. So, yeah, I like this one. I'd probably give this one, actually, a 9.4.
Okay, so this band is a Canadian band. I've never heard of this band before. So I hope that this is one of the, you know, this is one of those where I always say, see, this is why we do the format the way we do it, blah, blah, blah. But I'm very, very curious about this guy. Like, was this a one-off song like this? Or is like...
because I feel like I feel like that's a gap probably in my metal collection. Like there's no party feel good metal in my
I'm
collection.
glad that you've come to that realization, and I'm looking forward to the.
Well, I mean, what can you do?
I'm looking forward to you revamping your list a little bit. Then that's why sometimes I'm like, okay, let's go with like songs from the hood, like let's.
Give it boom, boom.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's a lot
no,
better.
this is what I decided.
Dude's getting jammed out.
No, I never listen to rap for the lyrics. I just listen to it for the feel and the vibe, and how it makes me feel is completely different than what they're singing about. And I've decided I'm keeping it like that. I'm not gonna let the lyrics and like the depression of all the stuff they're talking about ruin that for me, and also make that sad and depressing. I'm gonna go with it, and it's gonna be what I want it to be, and I'm keeping it that way.
So we just gonna be out here shooting niggas.
Putting the blinders on. Look, they're singing about what they want. I'm not shooting people, but you know, I have my own fight in me, and that's what the song will be about.
All right.
Thank
What
you,
did you
ladies and
what did you
gentlemen.
rate
I gave
this?
this a 9.4.
All right,
What do
this,
you give
this
it?
is the 9.2 for me.
9.2. We'll be right back, you guys.
Strong opening
Party
from the big
night.
homie.
It's a
The
birthday
party
night.
has just begun.
You know what? You guys can hate all of my children. I had a box full of sound makers that I was going to bring onto the stream for the birthday.
Right, we were
And I
going to do a
went
happy
down.
birthday jam, all types of shit.
I said, hey, you guys can use this for the babies. It'll keep them busy, blah, blah, blah. Just make sure it gets put back. Anyway, it wasn't there. So we have no noisemakers except for us. Happy birthday, Neil!
We'll be back.
We'll be right back.
Finn out.
Sorry out.
Go.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that
can
off.
also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee,
Can't
a
guarantee
positive
you a
review.
positive review.
Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vinand Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Screenshot.
Buy a merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Happy birthday, Neil. Stream going on here. The next song is called the Neptune. Well, the band.
Well, the next band.
The Neptune Power Federation, and the name of the song is Rat Queen.
Is there an intro for that?
Don't look at me.
Says the party continues.
The party continues with a band from Australia that bridges the gap between rock and metal. The band also has an interesting visual aesthetic that the vocalist is portraying, a character alongside an accompanying band. The album is a collection of songs that's supposed to be memoirs of the character the vocalist portrays for various events in the past and one in the future. Events such as the French Revolution, the Black Plague, and a Judas Priest concert in the mid-1980s. Okay? So let's check this out. Rat Queen
That's pretty.
by the band the Neptune Power Federation.
Pretty extensive. It's like what? It was that and then a Judas Priest concert?
From the 1980s.
Like
yeah.
those are comparable? Holy shit. Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Neil's birthday bash. Song numero dos. Let's do this shit. Rat Queen. The Neptune Power Federation. Okay, that was what was the name of the federation?
Ooh. Whoops, I have the wrong. The Neptune Power Federation.
The Neptune Power Federation, Rat Queen. Okay, what'd you think was going? First of all, they made some really interesting choices on production, huh? Like the way they did the echo.
At the beginning, yeah. It didn't line up,
like
but it was off.
The preco, you could call it. The preco. Instead of an echo, is probably a preco.
Yeah.
Which, you know, like when we're editing, you know, like that kind of echo, like you almost instinctively like work to try to fit it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even make it go backwards, right? Like you line it up and then you want an echo to come after, you know, but yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, oh, you made a mistake and somebody said, keep that.
Could be.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. This could be.
Because that was a really interesting choice, like to do that. Like, I would have never. That's one of the things that like is so interesting to me about music and trying to make music. It's like, and the dude that I had a dude that kind of taught me guitar for about 2 or 3 months or whatever, and that's pretty much all everything that you see me do on guitar came from that 3 months with that kid. But shout out to Sean. But like, there are no rules per se, but at the same time, if you've grown up on pop music, then there are certain rules that are just in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you've just listened to it over and over again, and you don't even, because you don't know any music theory, it's almost worse because you're like, this is what sounds good, this is what doesn't. When you realize theory, then it's like, no, this is a very, very specific progression or chord structure that, and you know, and now like in the social media era, it's a little bit different because now you have these YouTube videos where people are actually saying like, look at this chord progression for this pop song and this pop song, and it's the exact same one.
Demystifies it.
Right. So then now everybody's like, well, holy shit, this is like getting out of hand. You see what I'm saying? But the point is, like, when you grow up, you do absolutely apply certain rules to music. So it's like when you start making music yourself, like I would have completely like changed that. Like I'd have been like, oh, that's wrong. Like the, you know, and most probably sound engineers or whatever, they would probably say the same thing. Like, yeah, we'll fix that, yada, yada, yada. But like they went in the complete opposite direction and it just worked. And like,
to me, it reminded me of like how Jonathan does that, where the stuff is like off or kind of odd sounding, but it like really works. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree.
Talk about Korn, obviously.
I agree. And Tool kind of does that too with the polyrhythmic drumming stuff. Yeah, because the drummer's playing like 2 beats at the same time. So like he's off.
Yeah.
But then he's not off because the other rhythm kind of interfaces with the other rhythm. It's like really complicated stuff that I'm sure if I was a drummer, I would be even more blown away by.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But just like getting basic concepts, I'm like, okay, that's what they're doing. So like what they did with that pre-echo thing, I thought that was a really cool, that was a badass move, man.
Yeah,
like I thought it was a really risky thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that could go, that could go either way, man. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but they were.
But I liked it. I thought it could go either way, and I think that an audience could take it either way. I think that there's some people that would listen to that and be like, "Well, that is trash," and there were some people from the chat that were saying they didn't like it at first.
Yeah.
And then as the song progressed, they were like, "Never mind, I do like this." So
yeah.
I think that they do kind of like that style was it did feel a little off, but then when you look at the topic of what the song is about, then it's like, okay, well.
Yeah, what did you think topically?
We're talking about the bubonic plague, whispering through the country fields and beyond city. Look, it says Hamburg, 1351. whispering through country fields and beyond city gates. Once they recognized the deathly hymn, it was too late. Because once the deathly hymn was being sung, the bubonic plague was getting spread by rats all around the city. And so once the hymn was already being sung that people were dying, that means it was already spread. The plague was already happening in your city. It was too late for you.
Yeah.
Pleading for a sweet relief that was never to pass. It probably was a long death, I'm assuming. I don't know much about it. Gathering in filthy piles, thick and deep and vast. I guess that's the bodies?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Their last words as they fell were, "Damn that bitch to hell." And nowhere to run.
Because she's the rat queen.
I'm the rat queen baby.
Right.
My assume is now your fate looms in the dirt or the tomb. Dark in the sun, I'm the rat queen baby. Searching for a reason why such darkness did descend. Who would curse the earth and Genesis heavens offend? Their gaze fell upon me, burning as 1,000 suns. 'Twas I who bore the devil's mark. Now vengeance had begun. So I guess now this person has it.
Yeah, but they're looking at her and blaming her, basically.
Yeah, maybe she's the first person in the city that got it.
Yeah, because it says their gaze fell upon me, burning as 1,000 suns. But if she's a rat queen, like maybe she's like literally a rat.
It could be.
Maybe she's like literally a rat.
That was
You know what I'm
initially
saying?
what I thought, was that we were literally singing about a rat, but then I've actually changed it now, and now I think, yeah, you're probably right. The first person that came with those boils or whatever it was, then it spreads to the whole city. They're like, yeah, but she's the one that started it. You know what I mean? And it obviously came from the rat. So it's like, well, what were you doing with the rats? Like, how did that happen? Like, you some kind of rat?
Well, they didn't know that it was. They didn't know for a very long time that the bubonic plague was spread by rats. That's why That's why so many of them died. They didn't figure that out until much later. But like, so, but what did he say about this band? Like that they tell stories about like major events in history.
Yeah, and I thought he did say something about the Black Plague.
Okay.
Events such as the French Revolution, the Black Plague, and
it's supposed to be memoirs of the character the vocalist pays for various events in the past. So it's one character. Help us out here, Neil. A rat. There was a rat king in the Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Y'all ever seen a rat king? They're like the most miserable thing on the planet. Okay, so like there's literally a rat king, like maybe probably the head of the rats or whatever.
And he's miserable?
I guess he'd be miserable. Maybe he's got to impregnate. Maybe he's got to impregnate all the girls, and it's, he's like in Dante's Inferno and shit. Dante's Inferno. That's basically what like if you were like a glutton in this life, like you'd have to like eat food for all eternity, even when you weren't hungry, and like, please stop feeding me. So same kind of principle applies. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess this one is about the Black Death. So you gave us a little tip when you said that. Yeah.
Nowhere to run. I'm the rat queen, baby. I think it's. I'm just gonna say it's like the characters incarnating as like a literal rat and like wrecking shop. No, it's a real thing. Rats get their tails tangled up and get to this huge group, and then it really just gets worse from there, and they call the collective a rat king. Oh my god. Oh.
That is so friggin' nasty. Negative. Ew.
That is one of the...
What a stupid batch of
God,
beings.
what a disgusting...
That they can get their tails tangled.
Which then goes to the next question, right? Like searching for a reason for why such darkness did descend. Looking. Searching for a reason for why such darkness did descend. Who would curse the earth and Genesis heavens offend? That is disgusting. That makes me want to puke. But
and I'm telling you that there's
what
there's like one like voice in my head that's like, Google it. Google a rat king.
No, don't do that.
Look at the video.
Don't.
And then there's the other part of me that's like, don't you dare do that.
No, yeah, you're gonna be fucked up for the rest of the night, bro. Chill. Then I'm gonna be mad at Neil. Like Neil has nothing to do with it.
That's so true.
Then I'd be like, it was fucking negative.
I'm like, Vin, I looked at it.
Negative vibes had nothing to do with it. Like it was that time. Remember the time we were at the Bible study and somebody did that shit?
Yes.
Oh man, I wanted to slap that boy.
You did?
I wanted to slap that boy. Oh, you held it so calm. I was so tight. Okay. but see, like this is a heavy thing though. Searching for a reason why such darkness did descend. Who would curse the earth and Genesis heavens offend? That sounds like Shakespeare. That one line.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not
You're
saying
right.
the whole thing, but that one line
Yeah.
sounds like Shakespeare. Who would curse the earth in Genesis heavens offend? All right, what did you make of that?
Who would curse the earth? I mean,
Because they're saying searching for a reason why such darkness descends, right?
yeah,
Like,
I thought they were just asking the question, like, who would curse the earth, and begin, because Genesis means beginning, and I thought it just meant and who began to offend the heavens so much that this is now happening to us. I just thought that they were just asking the question, like, why are we cursed like this? Who's the one that did this? Who offended the heavens? Who did this shit? Who's the one that made this happen to us?
right.
They want to blame somebody.
Well, yeah, that's and the irony of that obviously is us with modern technology and things like that. We're like, yeah, man, it was the rats, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, you know, a modernist is going to look at that and say there is no like theological answer to that question. Like, it was rats. That's it. Okay? You guys didn't have the science. We have the science. So that shit is not happening to us. Has nothing to do with God. You guys just didn't know. Which, of course, excludes the idea that the scientific endeavor itself, let me say it this way, was at minimum populated with people who believed that the universe was ordered because that there was a God, and so their job was to figure out, to basically reverse engineer or hack the creator.
Yeah.
Because as the scripture says,
Think
it is
God.
the,
Well, it doesn't
it's
say
it's the it is the glory of God to conceal a matter and the glory of kings to seek
Search
it out.
Yeah.
So the question has to be asked: what was the underpinning for the Western philosophical scientific endeavor to get us to the point where we could figure out that the bubonic plague was about rats and that it wasn't about something mysterious?
Yeah.
So there's still a bunch of unanswered questions. You're just pushing it back a segment. Because, like, why is the Western world so good at this and then the Eastern world not? Like, those are very important questions to ask. Like, why did we still, you know, this is a little bit controversial, but Bill Gates still has to go to different parts of the world to get these people vaccinated, things like that, even before the COVID stuff. I'm just talking about polio, mumps, measles, rubella, all that type of shit. So that's just a very interesting question, man. Because a lot of times when something bad happens, people want to theologize it, which obviously as a Christian, like, you have no choice, because you've got this major event that's happening either personally or nationally, and you're saying you believe in God. So how does this work? And answers like, well, it was rats, to a lot of Christians is a disappointing answer. Like, they want some big, well, the people were sinning and the people were this and the people were that. It's just like I just look at that stuff as like, look, we're in a fallen world, and the fact that you can make it from your house to Walmart without somebody robbing and destroying and murdering you is a little miracle that we take for granted every day. So, and the same thing with like plagues or viruses. Like, there's so many things that should take us out. Like, being able to exist for 24 hours on this planet, if we knew all the dangers and we knew all of the pitfalls of all the different various ways we can die or be taken out or significantly harmed, you know what I'm saying? Like, we would be a lot more grateful for being able to complete a day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Without that happening. So to me, like, it just depends on what side of the street you're looking at. I'm looking at it like, if you were in hell already, but you had some sort of like little firmament around you to kind of like protect you from the ultimate ramifications.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
That's what living on this planet is to me right now.
That's
So then that changes the question of the problem of evil, you know, because it's like, okay, why did he let that particular thing into the dome, into the bubble? What is he trying to teach us? What's the lesson there? That type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
There's a theory that because these cats were associated with witchcraft and hunted down prior to the Black Plague, that the lack of cats helped to facilitate the spread. There it is. Holy shit. cats were associated with witchcraft, and I guarantee you, like you see, like you have a little town that's populated with a bunch of black cats, right? Perfect example. Like, and I do think that's a difference between religion and superstition. Like, religion has very systematic policies and procedures. Now, a person could say there is some superstition built into religion. Okay, fine. Like, there's superstition built into every worldview, but let's, okay, fine. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You could not get all black cats are bad if you restricted yourself to the Bible.
No, that's true.
You couldn't get there.
You couldn't even get that one was bad.
Right. You could not get there. That black cats are bad or that any cats are bad from a biblical, understanding. So you've got religious people who are parallel to that and simultaneous to that. Also, people who are very superstitious, which honestly, in the biblical world, if a person would have attributed any sort of divine power to a cat to fear them, they would be looked upon with the screw face. They would be, because the people of Israel would be like, what are you talking about? What are you trying to say? You trying to say that the cat has some sort of power? And then they would look at you like with the side eye and say, hey, we need to have a discussion about this guy. So the irony is pretty crazy. It's like the superstitious people who are trying to combine this with a biblical worldview, if they were in the biblical world, would be the people that everybody would be suspicious of, because they're applying their superstition to these cats, where the Bible doesn't give you that kind of a category. Right. So it's just very fascinating stuff. It's very fascinating stuff. So I don't know when she says, like, I'm the rat queen, if that's like literal or metaphorical, but that's a crazy thought. Like, yo, this whole plague started because, I mean, I don't know if that's why it started. I mean, they had pretty nasty living conditions over there, but yeah, I definitely could see that shit happening. Like, damn. But here's the thing, like,
whoa. I don't mean this is
what?
I mean, this is Wikipedia, but it was occurring in the Western Eurasia and North Africa from 1346 to 1353. So that's what, 6 years?
75 to 200 million people.
It's the most fatal pandemic recorded in human history, causing the deaths of 75 to 200 million people, peaking in Europe from 1347 to 1351.
That shit is crazy. Damn.
Ew, bubonic plague is caused by the bacterium spread by fleas. Oh, it's the fleas from the rats. And fleas will live, like, you don't have to have the, like, if the rats come through your home, like, I was at somebody's house that had fleas. Like, they did have pets, but they had, like, a massive amount of fleas. Like, I sat on the floor and I saw them all start jumping. I was like, what is this? I was a teenager. And then I realized it was fleas. I was like, hey, I have a fun idea. Sleep in my car instead of sleeping in your room.
Did that work?
It did. She was like, yeah, that's, she's like, oh, listen, we were 16 years old. We went out to the car. I was like, I'm not sleeping in this. This is insane.
You get the bubonic plague. Where do you get the song?
You go first.
This song, to me, was a very, this was one of those situations where, like, I loved the vocals, but the lyrics were also extremely captivating. Mm-hmm. And so I was going back and forth between enjoying them both. It was a very, very, very good song. Very risky. I liked it. 9.4 for me.
9.6 for me. I also thought the vocals were a bit crazy, but I like that. And that's kind of like what I want to explore with my vocals. So it was interesting, like, hearing it. And I'm always like, oh, when you hear somebody, like, completely sell out, and, like, at the end, it was low. It was turned down, but she sold out. And it wasn't like the sellout sound like Floor. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was something completely different. But like, the way that she sold out was so, like, I don't know. If I sell out, I'm not going to sound like Floor. If I sell out, it's going to be more like in this category. So maybe that's more why I'm like, okay, I like this.
It's more human, more attainable.
Exactly. It is very human, and it doesn't seem like it was prettied up so much, which I think is great, especially considering what the song is about. Like, this was not pretty. Like, this was it looked like a curse upon these people and so much death and everything. So I think it was perfect.
75 to 200 million people.
Unbelievable.
That like, so that's in the 1300s. That was
1351.
So that's probably what 1.5, maybe 2 billion people today. Probably if we scaled it. That shit is ridiculous.
9.5 for me.
9.4 for me. Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started for the big homie, DJ Neil. It is his birthday today, sir.
What is this song coming up by midnight? Lust, Filth, and Sleaze.
When we return, dear listener, Lust, Filth, and Sleaze. Vin out.
Followed by Glory, Hallelujah. Sorry out.
Gone. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vinand Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes,
this is
listener.
a birthday
yes,
stream
listener.
for Neil. Happy birthday. The next song on our list is by the band Midnight. The name of the song is Lust, Filth, and Sleaze. I just want to say that Neil is the one that made the list of songs. We had nothing to do with it. He put this one, and then the next song is called Glory Hallelujah. I don't know what's going on with this order. Let's see what's happening. Neil says, now when you get... now when you want to get a metal crowd rowdy, Midnight is the band to play. The only time I've seen a guitar smash during a live performance was during a Midnight show. Midnight blends heavy metal, punk rock, and black metal into a raunchy, fun, and energetic sound. They hail from the U.S.
Ah, of course. With the title Lust, Filth, and Sleaze.
Let's see what this song's all
What
about.
else could we think? Okay, well let's see what these good fellas are about.
And thank you for putting the link to the lyrics. My God, look at this album cover.
I know. Some very terrifying lady with some sort of weapon of harm.
Weapon of harm. It's 2 women, or that one looks kind of younger, and it looks like this is the Grim Reaper holding a knife.
A weapon of harm.
Yeah, but the woman was not. And what is she licking?
He's holding a scythe.
What is this
I think
that they're
it's
licking?
Grim Reaper is a scythe, right?
It's not. This is not. But what is this pendant thing that they're licking?
I don't know.
Midnight Satanic Royalty album. And yes, we are Christians. And yes, we are going to review this song. And yes, we are not going to probably say what you think we're going to say.
Here we go.
We might. know that there's really anything to say different than what it says. There's not like sometimes there'll be like a song that's like strange and off and like you expect Christians to say a certain thing about it, but then like there's like you'll pull like these really like deep meanings out of it. I'm just not really sure there's any depth here. I think it's pretty on the surface. So it took me a minute there at the beginning. I'm actually going to look back at this review because I was like reading the second line because it didn't make any sense to me. And then as I like read it through, all of a sudden like it dawned on me what it was saying. The second line. So I'm not even going to read it out loud. Anyway,
my man was graphic as fuck, bro.
Babe, what would you do, honest to God, if somebody was...
He was graphic as hell.
If somebody rolled up
shit.
to take one of our kids out to go hanging out, like they were their age.
Listening to this
he's
shit?
listening to this. What would you do, honest to God? What would you do?
I promise you, she would not be going out with that dude.
Oh, it
would never happen.
I'm fully aware.
It would never happen.
You turn that gentleman around.
As soon as I heard the
He would be like, how did you know?
Filth. Sleep. I would be like, that would be the end of that situation, bro. That's when your boy Vincent. That's when all that toxic fucking what they call
toxic masculinity. Thank you. You know what? I'm sorry, ladies.
This is my safety, sir.
But I appreciate a little bit. I don't think it's toxic. I think that there is versions of toxic masculinity, but I think that there's straight masculinity that is very, very, very nice to have. I appreciate having it in my life. And lots of you would appreciate having it in your life too if you saw how it benefit you. It's very nice. Protection's top notch. All right, so babe,
this man said, it's just funny to me like how like out there he was with it.
Yeah.
And it like kind of stays in your head.
It does.
Filth, sleep. That shit is terrible, bro.
Was it filth? Was
you
filth?
give
Yeah,
me lust, filth, and sleaze.
Okay, it's definitely like over the top.
Talking
like,
to this girl, like how in what fucking universe is that a fucking compliment to a young lady? I mean sleaze. I mean filth.
Like, come here, you filthy woman.
Yeah, you're the filthiest bitch I've ever met in my life. Like, in the hood, they had
maybe he's like
you nasty boy, you nasty. You know, that used to be the thing. But filthy?
Okay.
Like as soon as you say filthy, you immediately start looking at your nails, right? Like
I cleaned my fingernails
today.
Yeah,
I mean, like a minor in pristine condition. But I mean, I have to be. I'm a guitarist. But I mean, what the hell? That man said. I don't know how to review this song.
I know it's a very weird one to review. Okay, this is what I will say. So once I got over like, ew. And then he said more things. Seriously, guys, I cannot say them out loud. So if you want to know what it is, fucking look up the song yourself.
I couldn't even put the lyrics on this shit. Because from time to time, our kids will watch our stuff.
It's true.
It's weird. Like yesterday, I did like a 3-hour Middle America marathon session, and the kids are downstairs. So I was like,
watching it for hours.
I couldn't even put that shit down on TV, bro. I couldn't even put them. I was like, yo, this boy was so. He was graphic as hell, this boy.
He was. I will say, though, somebody said, actually, I could see people moshing around to that. And, like, okay, forget, like...
Moshing around to what?
He was saying.
To this song?
But, like, just, like, jumping around and stuff. Like, if it's not... But it was catchy, babe. It was.
Well, no, I mean, obviously, it's shit like a... Lust. Filth. Sleep.
It was catchy. I don't know what to say to the homie. But it definitely was.
What a
okay, so this is the thing. I think that he is. This is my guess. Okay,
Are you really going to try to psychoanalyze this fucking guy?
I'm going to say that the author of this song
is a rock star who just made a song about all the jump offs he's knocking out on tour. That's the depth of the exegesis of these lyrics, dear listener.
I think he's a very lustful young man, and that's why it's coming out like this.
No shit. You think he's a lustful young man?
I think that it's not.
What clued you off? Was it the you give me lust? You give me sleaze line, or was it I'm gonna bust when you're down on your knees line? Like, which particular line was it that indicated to you that this individual was of the
Steven, I must get this album
of the filthy description? Where did you get that from? Holy shit, she says.
Oh boy. Okay. Yes,
Sleaze.
Ben. Yes, Ben. He's also filthy and sleazy. I don't even know what I'm going to rate this song, because this is like, okay, catchiness, you got to give it points for catchiness.
I don't have to give it shit.
The song itself
I don't have to do any of that.
And honestly, some of it was just embarrassing. It was just too detailed.
This is fucking terrible.
And like a volcano erupts into the sky. This man. Okay, I'm gonna give this one. You know what? I think that there's.
See, I feel like you're enjoying this. I feel like you're enjoying this. I feel like you're enjoying this.
This is what happens. Okay,
I feel like you're enjoying this song too much.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm a person that finds things shameful and embarrassing pretty easily. So like, there'll be times where we're having the review, and like all of a sudden I feel my face. It turns red. Like, I'm talking about something, my face is red. Like, I still look, right now, my cheeks are getting a little redder. Just thinking about it.
Red with filth and sleaze.
So, when I hear somebody, like, going out there like this and putting this stuff out there and going to, like the details that this gentleman went into, I find it completely embarrassing. So, I don't... So, that's why I think I'm laughing. Like, you know when people feel uncomfortable and they, like, laugh?
Oh, yeah.
And it's also...
Oh, yeah. I do it to white people all the time.
I know. That's the one thing when I was watching that movie they kept doing to people. And you know what I was thinking? I always come to their aid, or lots of times I do, to try to like put that little smoother. I'm not doing it anymore.
You try to rescue it.
I was like, why did I do that? I'm going to let these things happen again and just let it sit there.
You're going to say, this is your filth. Sleaze.
Anyway, I'm going to give this one
what a fucking horrible song, bro.
I'll give this one a 6 for...
This song is getting a 0 from me.
A 6 for sound,
hey,
a 6 for topic.
This is a 0. See, there you go. That's why I had to give it a 0, because I knew you were going to do some shit.
It's a total 6,
getting a 0. This is a 0 from me, dear listener. I don't think I've ever given a 0 before, but I have daughters now. This shit is incredible.
Yeah, this is nice. It's probably
between Rihanna's nasty ass and this thing. Like, this dude was singing to Rihanna. Hey, Rihanna, next time you go to the Super Bowl and you want to shake your tail feather, whatever nasty fucking scratch and sniff you were doing, bring this guy on, because you definitely brought on the lust, the filth, and the sleaze, Rihanna. Shout out to her. Big 0 for him and a big 0 for you. Holy shit. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
God.
We'll be right back.
What a fucking terrible song. He said, I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vinand Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
That's why we couldn't post the damn lyrics.
Negative, you're so funny. You may be right, you may be wrong. Okay, now we are up to the next song on our birthday stream for Neil. Sabbath Assembly, Glory Hallelujah is the next song. This is probably the most insidious selection on the playlist. I get a kick out of playing this one around people who pay attention to the lyrics. Sabbath essentially has had a variety of vocalists perform on their albums. This one features Canadian singer Jex Thoth. Read the rest after listening to the song. Very good job. All right, we'll read the rest after.
I think it's Thoth.
Thoth. What'd I say?
Thoth?
Oh,
Pretty sure it's Thoth.
it's probably is. Read the rest after, he says. So we shall. You did so good, Neil, with these notes. He set all this stuff up.
He set the whole thing up.
He's like, now that I'm already on the board.
Very,
I can
very,
set up
very,
there. I was like,
very convenient. Oh, he's
is.
on the board now.
well, because he's in part of the alliances, so he just set up his board on the alliances.
Sabbath Assembly.
Glory, hallelujah.
The show must go on, dear listener. I shouldn't say that. Last time I said that,
I know, it didn't.
you canceled the show.
I mean, I don't understand how you thought it was going to go on. You should have seen yourself. He
Well-
was dripping in sweat, the whole front of his shirt and the whole back of his shirt, and you kept running out of here.
Yeah, I felt like I could sweat it out. And I was like, oh, if I puke between songs, we'll be okay.
Okay, your girl's never going to do that, okay?
But the problem was I couldn't hold it between songs. That's when it became, unfortunately, we had, but I'm nowhere near that now.
No,
it's
He's
Neil's
gonna
birthday.
he's going to
Sabbath Assembly, Glory, Hallelujah, let's do it.
Glory
I believe you put that order in there on purpose. This is very interesting.
Yeah, it's extremely interesting.
So you said you put this on when people come around and you know they're listening to the lyrics. This is an interesting style of song, and the lyrics.
What was that other part you're supposed to read after?
Oh yeah, that's right. Further context for this song and what the band is doing is as follows. This album in particular is reimagining actual hymns created by what is essentially a cult called the Process Church of the Final Judgment as stoner rock songs. A significant feature of the Process Church is that individuals exhibit traits associated with 2 out of the 4 gods that exist as inner realities, not literal entities. Those gods are Jehovah, Satan, Lucifer, and Christ. A bit more of the background can be found here. Process Church of the Final Judgment. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Me neither.
Very interesting. And how did he find these people?
He didn't say. While relying heavily on tenets of Christianity, scholars of the religion have classified it as a form of Satanism because of its expanded belief system.
Yeah, I mean, if you put Satan on par with Jehovah or Yahweh, then obviously that would be a satanic religion.
Yes, I just didn't know if they would recognize themselves as such.
Because they're one of, I mean, you've got God as one of 4 gods that you can choose from, which is interesting. So Satan is supposed to be the antithesis of Yahweh and Lucifer.
Individuals exhibit traits associated with 2 out of the 4 gods. So you could have traits like, that's really interesting. So you could have Jehovah's. That's so interesting because in our religion there is a space for some of that, because look, you could show traits of Jehovah and also traits of Satan, and like we have like our new nature and our old nature.
Yeah, but the issue is 2 out of the 4 gods, so they have them as gods that it appears to be equivalent to each other.
Yes, that they're equivalent, and yeah, exactly, and they're
right. So that's where
it went,
it would die. We would characterize that as a cult or a
Yep.
or a more of a satanic religion than something that can be harmonized with anything Christian. But it's still like a dual. I mean, I guess you could say it's quadralism, but it's kind of like it's just dualism, right? So you've got Yahweh on one side, and then you got Satan on one side. You got Lucifer on one side, you got Jesus on the other side. Of course, this is again more confusion on standard Christian theology because Yahweh and Jesus are the same thing.
Right. Right.
And Lucifer and Satan are also in Christian theology the same thing,
But
literal thing.
That's why I thought it was interesting that they put Jehovah. Oh wait, well I'm not.
They
sure.
have Jehovah, Satan, Lucifer, and Christ. So Jehovah is Yahweh.
Right, and Christ is...
Right? So you got Jehovah juxtaposed with Satan, and then you have Christ juxtaposed with Lucifer.
Yeah.
But, which is fine. But again, like, in Christian theology, Jehovah and Christ are the same thing. And Lucifer and Satan are the same thing. So, like...
I see, yeah. I'm sorry. I get it.
Obviously, you know... Yeah, I mean... It was just very interesting watching what she was saying. Glory, hallelujah, glory to the gods, glory, Lord Jehovah, calling to me. Of course, in our view of the scripture, there's still room for saying the gods or whatever, because the Bible addresses gods directly, and
right.
Yahweh interfaces with gods. In the biblical world, you actually have more of a henotheistic idea with the concept of Yahweh at the head of a council of lesser gods, lowercase g gods, and Yahweh's son is sort of like the vice president of the council. And so it's one of those father-son type of things where it's kind of, you know, like that show we're watching. I'm not going to name the show, but so that's why somebody asked me one time, one of my atheist friends was talking to me, he thought he had me in some sort of corner. He's like, do you think Odin exists? And I said, yeah, actually I do. I do think Odin exists.
This happens so many times when you're talking, because people assume so much about Christians.
Yeah.
That when you're...
Agreed.
Now, when they ask the question, I just see them walking right into it. I'm like, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Yeah, they're like, do you believe Odin exists? Yeah. What about? Yeah, I believe all that shit. Yeah, for fun.
I will say one thing that's interesting.
So
Obviously,
does Jacques Vallée, by the way.
we're Christians, and all of the words on this song. I mean, I didn't see any. Oh, I didn't see Lord Satan. I'm just now seeing Lord Satan. I didn't see that before. When I was listening to this song,
Yeah, you were like mesmerized by the music, because when I saw the Lord Satan part, I was looking at you and you were just like zoned. I was like, holy shit.
Well, I thought it was pretty sounding, but what I will
like
say,
Ghost. This is like Ghost.
no. What I will say is that I was internally confused by the fact that I could not connect with the song spiritually when I thought that it was supposed to be like a Christian band. So I was like, there was that confusion. So I was gonna start asking questions because it didn't. The way that I felt about this song spiritually, like internally, like in my internal spirit, didn't connect with what I thought the song was about. And then when we go in further and we find out, well, there's the Process Church connected to it, which is occultic, and obviously them putting Satan on par with God, which is no bueno. It's completely untrue. Not even close. The power dynamics are like
a lot of people, when you're looking at like as an outsider in Christianity, a lot of people think that they're like dualized, or juxtaposed with
but
each
you
other.
saw it with the cartoons. I'm sure you guys saw that back in the
like
day.
Jesus and the devil are arm wrestling.
Well, they would just put like an angel and a demon like on somebody's shoulder. And so even though it wasn't like God and the devil, like you still kind of, but I think sometimes they did kind of put it like it was God. But you kind of got this idea that they were like kind of like, there was like a fight between the two of them.
They were equivalent opposites.
Yeah, and really almost we were the determiner of which one would win.
Yeah.
Because if the person chose God, then that's the direction to go.
Yeah, like you got this picture here of the devil arm wrestling Jesus.
Holy shit, I've never seen this before.
You've never seen this before? Yeah, it's like
no.
That's like literally heresy.
For so many reasons. You're actually not supposed to have painted pictures of Jesus because like statues are made in the image and likeness of the God that they represent, and they supposedly like carry the presence of that God, or they are the conduit of that God.
This
the
should
statue
be the thumbnail.
is.
This should
So,
be the thumbnail.
Yeah, we could add that into the thumbnail. So anyway, it's the same with, what was I just saying? Oh, the conduit. But with God, like Jesus, the only, for him to have something made in his likeness, you can never do that because human beings are. That's why it says that we're made in the image and likeness of God. So basically, like, if God was to have a statue, he's so unbelievable that statue, like, we are that statue. We move, we breathe, we talk, we communicate, we have, like, we are the representation of what God is. Like, obviously we're a small representation, and it takes all of us to even give us a picture, a glimpse of what God is like. But yeah, so that picture has a lot of problems with it for a lot of reasons. One being that, and two that there
negative
is
vibes is like Jesus had to get them sick gains, yo. He was hitting the gym with that shit. He had like biceps and shit.
I'm gonna add that to the thumbnail right now.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's an interesting religion because Neil dropped some more science. I guess they said they portray Lucifer as the judge and Satan exacts a sentence in their interpretation. So Lucifer is the judge.
It's interesting that they're separate. I never heard
Wow,
that.
I watched a documentary on Netflix that suggested that the Process Church worked with the Son of Sam. Obviously, it didn't confirm. Hey,
I saw that also. It didn't say
what?
Son of Sam. It said, hold on a second.
Dude, I want to see. There's a documentary on Netflix about it?
I didn't see that. I saw it right here that prosecutors investigating the Los Angeles murders committed by the Manson family in 1967 suggested that there were links between Charles Manson and the Process Church.
Holy shit.
Yeah. This is Wikipedia, guys. You know, like, I don't.
Yeah, I want to watch. We should watch that.
I would totally watch that tonight. Yeah.
We should watch that shit right after, bro. That shit is crazy to me.
Yeah. What's the name of it? I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to find it.
He's gonna tell me. He's gonna tell us. He's gonna tell us.
That's pretty.
Yeah. So glory, hallelujah is from the Battle Hymn of the Republic, right? Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Yeah. That's insane.
The documentary is called Sons of Sam. You see right here, like, glory, hallelujah, glory to the God. So in this religious system, it looks like they all work together. Mm-hmm. Looks like they're all on the same team.
Yeah, but like you said, it's that the push and pull of.
Well, it's interesting
I
because
think that's the idea that they're coming.
In these people's theology, Satan is a judge, or Lucifer's a judge, and then Satan is the executor, right? In the Old Testament, the term Satan is not a personal term. So you never see like Satan did X, Y, and Z in the Old Testament. What you see in the Old Testament is
yeah, that's true.
Ha-Satan does X, Y, Z. So ha is a definite article. It means the. So in the Old Testament, you see the Satan, the Satan. Mm-hmm. In the New Testament, Satan then becomes like a proper noun and like applied to an actual person. But in the Old Testament, it wasn't applied to a person, but it was applied to an office. Mm-hmm. So the office is the opposer, yes. the opposition.
Right.
And so because a lot...
Accuser too, right? Or he is the accuser, but his name means opposer.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of the heavenly scenes in the Old Testament are divine council scenes. We talked about this earlier, where God superintends a council of lesser gods, and so he makes decisions about mankind based on what happens in those council deliberations. Mm-hmm. And so one of the roles of the beings in the divine council are to advocate for the people that they're representing, but another role is to be the opposing position, the Satan.
Yeah.
So it is a position in the Old Testament. It's not an ontological description. It's not a description about anybody's character. It's simply a position, any more than a prosecutor is an inherently bad or good person. Like, that's just your role in the law court. Mm-hmm. You have a judge has a role, the prosecutor has a role, and the defense attorney has a role. Mm-hmm. The defense attorney, as we've seen in Better Call Saul, doesn't mean he's good because he's a defense attorney. Conversely, just because somebody's playing the role of a Satan doesn't mean that they're actually bad.
Right.
So the dude in Job doesn't necessarily have to be a bad guy. Mm-hmm. The guy that shows up to God, because Job is a perfect example. It says when you see Satan in your translation, it's actually Ha-Satan. So God is saying, hey, Job is awesome, blah, 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 blah. Well, if your role in the law court is to be the prosecutor, mm-hmm. then you're going to say, well, there's a whole bunch of situations I can imagine where he would, So my point is, you can't necessarily say that every time you see Satan in the Old Testament, that means you're dealing with a bad guy. It may just be you're dealing with the prosecuting attorney in the divine council, in which case the guy's just doing his job. He's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy or a good guy. So that's pretty much the idea. So this song is really interesting. I wish I knew more about for example, they talk about the Armageddon approaches.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're a deeply eschatological group.
Yeah.
Because if they were an eschatological group, like in other words, where like the judgment day is coming, like in our lifetime, it's like right around the corner. You turn on the news, look at all the signs, yada yada yada. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. It definitely gave me Ghost vibes in the sense of like, it's not what you would consider a satanic song to be. Mm-hmm. Although this is what I would consider a satanic song to be. I remember like the first time I saw Ghost, I was like, yo, this is what Satan would do, because the scripture says he comes like as an angel of light, all the rest of it.
See, this one to me is more so. Oh, this is an interesting thing.
What?
Well, I think it just is showing how the things are connected. But that's something we can look at later. It's about this religion. I'm very curious to see. Look, I've never heard of this religion before, so
yeah, it looks like
there's It started way back. This I thought was interesting. The background: Marianne McLean, born in 1931, grew up in Glasgow. Various accounts have said that she spent a year in the United States, had a relationship with the boxer Sugar Ray Robinson, and worked as a high-end prostitute in London, servicing prominent figures in the British business and politics.
Wow. Yeah. So the song I'm very
crazy that her and somebody else set it up. Like
this is gonna send me down another rabbit trail.
Oh, for sure. And I'm actually very excited about it because I was like, I'm ready for another rabbit trail, Vin. Come on, because you always come up with them. Like, and then you start looking and you start like searching out all these things, and then
it's just very, very fascinating. Process Church of the Final. I mean, they've got to be a band that it's kind of what happens. You get unbalanced when you start thinking about the end of the world all the time. And a lot of people like really believe that. I mean, most Christians in America believe that Jesus was preaching about the end of the world and all that stuff in Matthew 24 and all that shit.
Yeah, very interesting,
very fascinating shit. I'm gonna have to.
Weird. It's so funny when you hear, you're like, wait a minute, this religion, they must be really small, like. Because we've heard of like a lot of different stuff, and this one we've never
but
heard of.
they're very connected.
Yeah, that's what's so weird.
That's what's crazy to me. Like they're mega connected to some pretty. I mean, they had Keith Raniere on that tree. You know who Keith Raniere is? He's the Lexium guy.
Oh, I was wondering
that
if
was
that's
knocking
what it
out
was.
all them girls, put them in a dungeon. And he was like marking the girls and shit, all that type of shit. Yeah, that was them.
Yeah.
Okay, they do have one. Sympathy for the Devil: The True Story of the Process Church of the Final Judgment. So there it is, right there. Bang. There's an entire documentary. There's a documentary on them in 2015. It's an hour and 41 minutes. Done.
Well, that's what's going to be on.
Done.
That's on the docket tonight.
We're doing that shit as soon as it's over. Okay. What a weird song.
Yeah.
Oh no, it doesn't exist anymore.
What do you mean?
The Process Church of the whatever doesn't exist anymore, according to Neil. But we have a documentary, so. Thank you for spoiling the documentary. Thank you for spoiling the documentary for us, you sour son of a bitch.
You know what? That's what you get, babe, for what you did to me.
What do you mean what I did to you? What I did to you?
So somebody, I won't say who, but somebody posted a spoiler for a show we're watching.
Oh my god.
And Vin was like, he come through me, he was like, yeah. He's like, so and so posted a spoiler for that show. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. And then he proceeds to tell me the spoiler.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was definitely.
I said,
uncharacteristic.
I said, did you just do that because you don't want to be alone with the spoiler? He was like, you like did that like bend forward, like look around. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of person does this? Their own wife, no less. Anyway, whatever.
Oh boy, here we go.
Thanks for this very strange. Okay, so it's crazy because the song before, this is what's crazy, because the song before seems so explicitly like, like the way that they were going about it, but this one is significantly more destructive as far as like what the topic is. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, 100%.
But and you wouldn't know it
100%.
like from our standpoint. That you know, that's crazy because this one it was so deceptive. But again, like I said, I couldn't connect with it. Like my spirit couldn't connect with it, and I did not see that Satan line, so I didn't understand why my spirit wasn't connecting. Well, now I know. Further proof that the spirit is not me.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
All right. What are you giving this one? I think this is a little bit tricky to rate because it's not like, well, it kind of sounded like a hymn, but then it had like that strange angle where you know, obviously that was unexpected. If you weren't paying attention to the lyrics, this is why you said that, Neil? I thought that Neil was saying that he plays it for people that pay attention to the lyrics because it's going to sound like a Christian song to them. And they'll be like, wait, Neil, what's happening? And when it's actually not.
Freaking Neil.
Or is he saying...
What a deviant this guy is, huh?
I know. Or is he saying he plays it because his friends would be okay with it kind of sounding like a semi-Christian song, but that they would be like, what the fuck? When it got to the... No, it's got to be the first one. All right, Neil, you troll.
Yeah, he completely Ben Webbed us on this song for sure. Mm-hmm. Although I had my guards up. Ben, if you look at Ben Bear in the comment section, like he's like, oh no, there's something about this song. And then when the Satan part came out, he's like, there it is.
There you have it. All right, you guys, we have more to come. Wait, what did you give this song?
8.6. It's 8.6 to me.
It's a 7.3.
7.3.
I'll give it an 8.
I'm not telling you to give it an 8.
No, I know. I'm just like, I don't like the trickery in it, so that's why I was going with a 7.3. But I think they did a decent job at it, so I'm gonna give it an 8.
It got that because of the trickery. I thought they did a good job with the trickery.
Yeah, you would.
I think Ghost.
You would rate that.
I look at Ghost as like the leaders of that whole. I don't know if you want to call it a genre. I think the Ghosts are the best at that, and I don't know. I'll have to look at the date, but whatever it is, in my opinion, Ghost has perfected that kind of like insidious sort of like.
Yeah.
Satan in a different kind of packaging, which was hilarious to me because I'm pretty sure Ghost has already performed at the Grammys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But there was no outcry, but the Sam Smith dude, so that white dude with the thing and he's running around in a red pitchfork, whatever.
Oh, Sam Smith, that's what...
and like people like losing their minds.
Yeah,
and then you had Ghost on like 2 years ago and then Christian said nothing.
They missed it?
It was
wow.
unbelievable. It was just like, oh my gosh, here we go.
All right, guys, we got more stuff coming your way. High Spirits is up next.
High Spirits is up next. We are in the midst of DJ Neil's birthday bash. Be here or be square, losers. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. Booty, 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 boo. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vinand Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
Buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
DJ Neil up with a birthday stream tonight. Happy
yes,
birthday.
sir. Bobbert.
High Spirits, You Make Love Impossible is up next. So after that brief jaunt into the occult, we will liven the party back up with a band that throws back to the 80s arena heavy metal. Yes! High Spirits is the brainchild from the drummer for Pharaoh, a band I introduced to you last year. Yep. And the band's purpose is the band's namesake, to raise your spirits with a fun, poppy take on metal. High Spirits, you make love impossible.
Oh, and I have
Let's do this thing.
Right here.
And I have a very easy clickable link.
What happened?
I just like it when they link Genius right in there, so it's like, boop.
Yeah. Genius doesn't comport well to posting it on the screen, though. All right, guys, here we go. You Make Love Impossible. High Spirits?
High Spirits is the name of the band.
High Spirits, You Make Love Impossible. Let's go. I think it's going to be a relationship. were born at the wrong time, man. I feel like we would have wrecked shop in the 80s, bro. We would have wrecked shop. We would have wrecked shop in the 80s and then like come up with the craziest metal in the 90s. Like the shit that we have now. Back in the 90s, it'd have been over with.
And I would have really enjoyed the outfits of the 80s. To wear those on stage, the neon, the black, the neon.
I'd have enjoyed you in them. Especially considering the song we've heard recently. You bring me sleaze. Filth. That's right. What was the other one? Lust.
It started with lust. Filth.
That's okay.
Sleaze.
Your partner tells you have lust. That's okay.
Yeah.
But filth, you're kind of like, you're like, yo, lust, yeah. Then you're like, filth, you're like, yeah.
It's filthy at that.
Then sleaze, it's like,
my husband says I'm the filthiest woman he's ever met. No, I don't think that's good. I don't think that sounds like a compliment.
My husband says I'm the sleaziest woman he's ever met. All right. It's a relationship song. I love this song. Look, I do think you guys, sometimes you guys do.
We do what?
Make love impossible? You guys do, yeah.
How so?
Like that show we're watching, the girl was like, if you go there, because he had to do something for his career. He had to relocate temporarily for his career and to grow as a person. And she's like, if you go there, you and I are done. So he's like, well, sorry, I got to do this. It's something I need to do for myself as a man. So she's like, fine, we're done. So then, as soon as he touches down in the other place, you know what I'm saying?
Here comes homegirl.
So then he's like, all right, cool. So now he's with homegirl. And then he gets engaged to homegirl. And then it's time for him to go back to the farm. So he goes back. And then Shorty's like, oh, how could you do this to me? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, you told me to leave. She's like, you were supposed to fight for me. You were supposed to.
But you didn't even fight.
So she set up this entire thing, and then he's supposed to go along. Man, he's like, man, fuck that shit, bro. And I was proud of my boy. He stuck to his guns. Then they had some
he's in a situation.
Some weird situation where the girl's like chasing after him and he's driving away. That was kind of awkward, but you know.
She chased him? I thought she was sitting at the truck at the end of the thing.
Well, yeah, she was sitting at the stop, and then when he drove away, she walked into the middle of the road for a couple paces.
She did?
It's kind of uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable.
But yeah, y'all do that shit though. Y'all be.
Say you all.
No, I'm for real. Like you guys do that a lot. You know. I think you guys just make things a little bit more difficult than it needs to be.
As in, like, once you're in the relationship?
Yeah, I just think the things you guys... Because I think a lot of it is, like, your guys' understanding of what romance is.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
So setting up these situations where you set the dude up, and it's supposed to be understood that you're supposed to do the opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Especially to a modern man, is, like, completely, like, it's just not going to... Especially now, because all of us now... are socialized to take what you guys say literally, especially when it comes to that. So if you guys are like, no, I don't want this, I don't want you, blah, blah, blah. Now we're socialized like, well, shit, oh, okay. I don't want to get me too'd or whatever.
Right.
I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying, like, those kinds of
it makes it messy. Yeah, it does. Because
games. I don't know if I want to call it games. I mean, I don't know if the girl is playing, or I don't know if it's rooted in insecurity.
Well,
I don't know what is going on there.
I can't speak for every woman. I'm just going to talk for the ones that I know, and you know, myself in there for some of it as well. But I think that some of it is it's true. You have an idea of what you believe, and a lot of that I think maybe is rooted in romanticism. But you have an idea of what you believe the relationship should be, or what the markers are for loyalty and romance within that relationship. And so maybe, like, if the guy fights for you, like, that's a big thing. That's a thing you've always dreamed of. Like, oh, maybe you saw something in a movie or a show, and so you want to see a guy fight for you. So then here you come to this dramatic moment where he has to go, and then you say that thing, like, because she said that she wanted him to fight for her, so that is what she was doing. So she puts it out there but says, like, it's over then for us.
What does that even mean, fight for me? What does that mean?
Well, for him to say, well, why don't you come with me, or why don't you, like, wait for me, or whatever, like, just more nothing was said. He was just like, okay.
Yeah, and the girl said, "I will wait for you if you tell me to wait for you," and he didn't even let her finish the sentence. So like,
well, yeah, that was the next girl. The next girl said it straight out. But I think but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that
wasn't that romantic the way he responded so quickly?
It was, but she had to be vulnerable to put that out there. I'll wait for you if you tell me to, because what if he just sits there and looks at her?
So
I don't know if a lot of women want to be that vulnerable. So, because there's no vulnerability if you say, okay, it's over then, and then he fights to come back to you. You don't have to be vulnerable at all. All you have to do is sit there and get fought for. So that, you know what I mean? Like that's the position that I think a women want to find themselves in. Not the position where you put yourself out there to say, hey, like, ask me to wait. That means tell me that you really do want me, because I mean, that's my take on it. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I advise the girls against that shit. I just don't know if it's just not something wired in y'all's DNA. I just think that's the pinnacle of romance for the girl. The guy's like, no.
Well, I think it's whatever it is. Like, and I think that might be one of the hang-up points in relationships, is that women are taught to be agreeable. So it's harder for women to say exactly what they want or need in a relationship, because they're trying to be agreeable, but in the back of their head, they do have stuff and things that they want to see in the relationship.
I don't buy that
and
at
so,
all.
Why didn't she just tell him directly?
Because think about it. If she was being agreeable, then why did she put him in an ultimatum? She put an ultimatum out there. That's not agreeable.
Where she said, if you leave.
Yeah, she told him, if you leave, me and you are done. That's an ultimatum. How is that her being agreeable?
That's true.
That's the thing, y'all.
That's true.
But women, you guys are the ones putting out the ultimatums usually in relationships. Dudes generally don't put ultimatums out there. It's usually you guys. So I don't really agree with the agreeability thing.
That's interesting. It's
when
true.
you guys think you have leverage in their anytime, the moment you guys think you have leverage in the relationship, you got. Although that doesn't really happen with me and you. I don't know. Maybe you don't think you have too much leverage, or maybe the. But I told you from the beginning, like, I'm not gonna read your mind. If you don't tell me something, I'm not gonna do it. Like I made a real stand. I put my flag in the sand, listener.
You have, and you continue to do it. And that was one thing that was a little bit difficult about transitioning from being a friend to being married, was when we were friends, like. If you saw something was up, you just like read it. It was like so easy, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my gosh. Then when I thought we'll get married, I'm like, this is gonna be so. And then once we got married, and you were like expecting me to like tell you it instead of letting you read it, it was, that was a little bit of a hard transition, because I did like the reading. It was nice. It was like, because obviously if somebody can read you, that means you really are very seen by that person. I'm
just tired of being everybody's counsel all the time.
Yeah, I can see that too. But I'll say that I thought that if you're so honest, like, because I would say definitely previously I would like maybe like set up a sort of a situation to be able to see how you would react to it, to then gauge off of that like where we were at in our relationship.
You would do stuff like that?
Yeah, like, you know some of them. I don't even need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can probably piece some of those together. So, yeah, there would be stuff like that. And then if you reacted the way that I wanted to, then it made me very happy. And if you didn't react the way that I wanted to, it would make me very sad or depressed or angry or whatever. Mostly it would end up in anger. Even if it started out with a sad, it would always, pretty much end up in anger.
Looks like, it seemed to me it was always...
by the time it got to your ears, it was probably at the blow-up anger point, yeah.
Yeah, you were always disappointed in me for not... you could tell the disappointment there.
I was definitely very disappointed with it. But then, like, since I've adopted this new way of, because you were like, I refuse to do this.
This new thing called communication.
So now I've been doing the communication thing.
There's this groundbreaking technique, dear listener. It's called honest, open communication.
Well,
this new to me
in
2023. This new technique, dear listener. I think Sori's going to explain to you how communication, this new technology called communication, works in a relationship. Go ahead, tell the people what they've won.
Anyway, tell them what they want. Anyway, it was the same thing like in the show when she she was vulnerable and she was being honest and communicating, so she put it out there and she was like, if you ask me to stay, and then she doesn't even get to finish it, and then he jumps right on it, and that was obviously a really romantic and exciting moment for them. And so I have found that, because I like to control like everything, I want to make sure that like the outcome is it's gonna be the way that I want it to. So I'll basically do whatever to make sure that the outcome comes out like I want. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Yeah.
Like the outcome is the ultimate. I just, at the end of the day, I want us to be good, and I want everything. I don't want you to be upset with me. Even now, I don't even want what happened before to be something that bothered you. So whatever I have to do to get that to end that way, good. Well, now I haven't been doing that. And I'm very surprised, because you get those moments like when he stopped her and he finished the sentence. Like that was really romantic and very exciting. And the excitement level that was there because she allowed herself to be vulnerable, and then she was able to see his, because, okay, so the other girl put him in a situation, so she's like, make the decision. And then he was just kind of like quiet. But with this other girl, when she said, hey, ask me to stay, I guess, really that way, they both communicated, really.
Yeah.
But one of them was saying it's over, instead of saying I really want this to, like, she wasn't honest about how she really wanted it. And so that was probably the difference between girl 1 and girl 2. Plus maybe he felt something differently for girl 2. I don't know. But
well, he probably felt something differently from
because
girl 2
she was so vulnerable with him.
He didn't have to perform all the time. Can you imagine like, so he reads between the lines and happens to guess right in that particular situation. But what happens when he guesses wrong in the next situation? Is he going to get any mercy? No. She's going to chop his head off. And then he's going to say, well, I figured it out the last time. And she's going to be like, right, that makes it even worse. He couldn't figure it out this time. That's why I don't do that. I don't do it. So I'm like, if I happen to be right, if I happen to guess right one time, I'm going to be held to that standard forever.
That could be true.
That
could be true.
You don't think it would be true?
It probably would. It's very difficult for me to say yes, it would be true, because I don't like what it implies. But yeah, I'm sure.
What do you mean? What do you think it implies?
It implies that somebody would take advantage of that situation like that. And by someone, it also implies me, because I am your someone. So I don't like that. But even though it's true, I don't want it spoken about. So anyway, that's how I feel about it. But anyway, I think that it's definitely preferable.
In your perfect world, I would still be doing the mind reading thing, blah 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 blah.
Okay, I would have said that like a couple weeks ago or like a month and a half ago. I would have said yes, definitely it's preferable that you read my mind.
But since you started
I've started this new
technology
of communicating, it's exciting to see those moments when, like I said, the girl 1 wanted to see him pursue her and say, no, whatever. Girl 2, I'm sure, wanted that, but also put her vulnerabilities out there.
He initiated. He said, I'm going to come back for you.
And then he jumped right in there and let her, and didn't even finish the sentence. And so what I found is sometimes, like, when I'm being like super vulnerable and I'm like, you probably don't even realize I'm being vulnerable, because I find stuff to be more vulnerable, more embarrassing than you do. So I'm putting myself out there, being very vulnerable, and then you always, like, every time you come right back in there. So then there's like all these exciting romantic moments that you didn't expect, because I didn't know you boy was like that, because I didn't put my vulnerabilities out there, so you had nothing to respond to.
I'm not that romantic of a person.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was the way that you respond to my vulnerabilities is very romantic. But I never put vulnerabilities out there, so I never saw that side of you.
That's fair. That is true.
So I'm seeing a whole new thing, and it's nice.
Well, it's a good thing that one of us fought for the concept of communication for so long.
I know. I fought the entire time. I fought you on the topic to not communicate. Okay, then yes, we're very grateful. What happened?
Who is the computer that's running the program?
Yeah, I see that. The battery's low. It's just I moved, so I thought we have our cord situation figured out, so I thought I was able to move. Okay, so when the song started out, did you think a little bit, oh no, stalker? I'm watching your window from here on the street below.
Yeah, anytime I see anything about watching anything, I'm like,
wait a minute.
But it doesn't, I think he's just done with her. You know, maybe she's walking away for the last time and he's watching her go. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
I thought he wants to be in a relationship with her and he doesn't get in a relationship.
No, I think he was in a relationship with her, and I think it's over. You make love impossible. Don't pretend you don't. I know you can hear me calling you. You make love impossible, but still, I just take it all. How did I ever fall for you? So they're not done. He's still in the throes. He's in the throes of it.
Relationship yet? It sounds like
he says, "I take it all."
Yeah, I think that this is all one-sided.
What's he taking?
All the hurt that she's giving to him for not being with him. Honestly, that's what I thought it was. Now you're a shadow. I see when the lights come on. Forget about it. You're right. That means he was in a relationship, because how could she be a shadow that was there? Okay.
He says, all right. But still my lonely mystery's far from gone. I want you to tell me. I just need to hear it from you. Because I swear that I die every time when you turn and walk away. So he needs to hear it from her. Maybe
he needs to hear what? I love you?
I love you, or I'm done with you. Maybe she's being ghosty and whatever with him. But
he can't end it.
He
knows. Her to do it.
He knows that it's over, basically, because she's not the same type of girl anymore.
I knew a relationship. Wait, if this is what you're saying, I knew a relationship where the guy could not let it go. She was abusive with him. She was horrible with him. He couldn't let it go. And I kept thinking, this time he'll let it go. This time he will. He wouldn't. She finally is the one that ended it with him. But he took it for a long time before he let it go with her. Before she let him go, because he was never going to do it.
No.
Huh?
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, there was another one?
Yeah. But I think you are, I agree that you are.
I know that person?
Yeah, I've told you their story before.
Oh, that dude.
It was never going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are the ones that are always initiating these things, not us. Statistically speaking. Yeah. I love the song, though. It was 80s style. What year was this written? What year is this song written? It's my song of the night right now, actually, to be honest with you. It's making my...
I know. I saw you writing it down in your phone.
My list. Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why is this making it into your list?
Ben was like, why is Vin enjoying... Why is Vin vibing to this song?
Yeah, what does it mean? How impossible do I make love?
We're actually like the best we've ever been in our entire relationship.
I know, it's true.
Right now. But,
it's true.
What year was this song written, damn it?
We don't know. We just know it sounded like the 80s.
2011.
Oh, wow. Good for them.
We don't know. It's 2011.
No, I was just saying.
What's wrong with you? Saber Wolves in the house. Good to see you.
What's up?
All right.
I like this one. This one's getting
9.8 for me.
This is getting 9.2 for me.
There you are, dear listeners. Speaking of 2, we've got 2 more songs for you, so sit tight. And we also have a very, very special message coming to you very soon. Vin, out.
Sori, out.
Go. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vinand Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst of the Neil's birthday bash.
Yep.
I didn't actually title this thing anything
he
specific
said
here. But.
jams.
Okay,
Neil's birthday jams.
This has probably been some of the funnest. This is the most fun we've had in a while.
Yep, he's taken on us on a strange
because of
journey.
because of song 2, I think.
All right, you guys. This song is Bible of the Devil is the name of the band, and the name of the song is Old Girl. He says there's something about energetic guitars, and this track has it in spades. Bible of the Day are an American heavy metal band. With this track in particular, they pay
Bible
homage.
of the Devil, not Bible of the Day.
Sorry.
Weirdo. What's
I
wrong
saw
with
just
you?
right underneath it said pay.
What's wrong with you?
They pay, and I think I just changed it. Particularly, they pay homage to the classic 70s hard rock band Thin Lizzy. Bible of the Devil, Old Girl. Let's check it out.
It's Old Girl, not Old Girl.
I said old, but it
You
sounded
said
like
old. You said
I said
old. It's old, not
Maybe I
old.
did. Maybe I did. What does it matter, Vin?
Oh boy, here we go. All right, guys, here we go. Old Girl, Bible of the Devil.
Like Thin Lizzy.
Let's do it.
Another ride, but no one may be coming. Looks like here is where I'll stay. The young lad's looking gray in the mirror. His fate, I'm afraid, it's getting clearer. Glass ceilings caving slowly in. Oh girl, it's the end of an era. Time is short as my freedom gets rarer. We both know you ain't my bride to be. Girl, you know I like trouble. Step back or relax on the double. There ain't no room for you and me. We both know you ain't my bride to be. And there ain't no room for you and me. I guess you're blind if you can't see. You can stroll around with that spoiled frown for everyone in the shaded town. Oh girl, you know I like trouble. Get away, disappear on the double. You act like you're just shot as hell. With time, you know it's just as well. Oh girl, you know I like trouble. Get away, disappear on the double. All those nights we got down to drinking, I never said what I really was thinking. The thrill of the chase was sinking in. Bleak things creep in the equation. I reminisce of the British invasion as your radio plays these travesties. Oh girl, it's the end of an era. Time is short and my freedom gets rarer. We both know you ain't my bride to be. Oh girl, you know I like trouble. Step back or relax on the double. There ain't no room for you and me. We both know you ain't my bride to be. And there ain't no room for you and me. I guess you're blind if you can't see. You can stroll around with that spoiled frown to everyone in the shaded as hell. Time, you know it's just as well. Oh girl, you know I like trouble. Get away, disappear on the double. And it ain't like we didn't have some laughs. Now you even told me that it couldn't last. This time I ain't the one torn apart. I got no time for a broken heart. You can stroll around with that spoiled frown to everyone in the shady town. Oh girl, you know I like trouble. Get away, disappear on the double. You act like you're just shot as hell. In time, you know it's just as well. Oh girl, you know I like trouble. Get away, get out of here. Guys, it's going on right now. Reminds me of that 1997-ish type rock that you'd hear on the radio.
Wow.
Yeah, that's around the date. maybe 98, 99, the pop rock that you'd hear on the radio. For sure, for sure. This one was right here. This one was right here for sure.
He really went off on the end there. I feel like he was trying to... Cause
What,
he
on
said,
the guitar?
Yeah, he's like, this time I ain't the one torn apart. I've got no time for a broken heart. And then he goes off with like this freedom-sounding music. He's like, we go like... Yeah, like, I feel like he was communicating something with that ending that was
It is fascinating.
translated very well.
It is fascinating to me, being a married person and looking at how hard it seems for people, it looks like 10 years younger than us. How hard
When they're dating?
it seems that dating is for them now. Like the landscape is, you know, when you watch Pearly or whatever, and like, even though I think their philosophy is crazy, it just tells me like the fact that they're having these conversations, like the manosphere stuff, it just tells me that like relationships are even more difficult to prosecute now than 10 years ago even. And it's just like, man, is it that difficult? Like, holy shit.
I think that there's some things about the internet in regards to relationships that I think are good, and then other things that can make it bad. I think that, like, the idea that you can talk to people all over the place would probably excite and discourage people at the same time, because at first you're like, oh my gosh, like, I could find somebody anywhere. But then as time progresses and you've been doing that for X amount of years, then it's like, wait, I have access to everybody and I'm not finding anybody, even though you don't have access to everybody. That's untrue.
Yeah.
But I could see how somebody would feel that way if they're like, you know, I've tried all these different apps, nothing's working out. Like, that would seem really, really discouraging.
Well, yeah, and then there's, you know, when I look at the relationship, and even in this song, like when I look at the way that these relationships are discussed in these forums, it's all a naked power grab and it's all about leverage, and so like they're and they use terminology like sexual marketplace and blah blah blah. It's just like everything becomes.
What? That was really disgusting. That's what they say?
Oh yeah, like when Pearl talks about value and she says like your value decreases, she's like, I'm not saying you as a human decreases in value. We're talking about the value in the sexual marketplace. Like that's a Kevin Samuels type coined term or whatever. But like,
man,
it almost gets everything is now reduced to brass tacks now. It's about like who's got the leverage, and then if you don't have the leverage, how you're supposed to operate when you don't have the leverage, which basically their response is just submit to whatever fucking horrible, terrible thing the guy has because he's got the leverage and that's what you want. Like it's just very
it's unbelievable,
extremely transactional.
Yeah.
Relationship structures today, and it's like there's not even the pretense of the necessity for romance anymore. It's just all like practical, and if you want to get a guy in this particular salary cap, then you're gonna have to not sleep with this many people. But then if you want a guy to cross the threshold and marry you, when you date him, you should have sex with him. So it's like these women are in an impossible situation, because if they don't have sex with the guy, then the guy's going to say, well, I have other and they're telling these girls, like, the guy has other options. Even church girls are telling them, you need to have sex with them because the guy's got other options. But simultaneous to that, they're saying you have to have a low body count.
Like,
So now this woman is completely at the mercy of the man, because the man that she's with, like, she's got to make that shit work with him as much as possible. Because if she doesn't, then she's going to be alone. She's going to be alone again. But now that's another body. So then it's absolutely, it's such a toxic, horrible, that whole sphere of. I understand why it blows up, because as Jordan Peterson says, the vast majority of YouTubers are male. And so, obviously this dynamic benefits men exponentially. And it's really deleterious to women, and it benefits men. So obviously it's gonna blow up, especially on a forum like YouTube. But it's just so difficult. Like, and again, I think it's difficult for dudes too, because like a lot of dudes don't fit like the whole high value man paradigm. A lot of dudes don't fit like the alpha male. Everybody's obsessed with being an alpha male now. Like a lot of dudes aren't like that, especially in our community. Like there are very few dudes in our community that are quote alpha males. Great people. Like I'm thinking of one right now. Great people, very sensitive dude, but he's not at all in any way, shape, or form an alpha male. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. When I sit and I just watch these people, I'm like, damn, like this shit must be really difficult, really, really difficult to navigate now. So he says, like, we both know you ain't my bride to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you have these relationships that are like almost purely physical, that aren't going anywhere, but you're still gonna jump into it, which again, I don't understand that paradigm, but at the same time, like, I've never been in those situations.
I wouldn't use the like body count metaphor necessarily, like, but I would say that if someone is going through like a bunch of different people like that, it changes you as a person. I would think, like, there's got to be. Just put a little pause. We'll be right back.
Pause. Somebody wants some attention. Okay, so we handled that situation. I do have to be a leader at my job, but I don't try to evoke an alpha male persona to do it. Yeah, I just don't know how everybody. If you find a relationship in this context now, it must be. I mean, there's just so many of these dating apps that are just let's hook up and have sex apps. There's who you're supposed to be. Now all these people are watching these YouTube videos. Now you got these dudes that are like selling tutorials on how to be an alpha male, how to get all these women. Like it's just so crazy. So it's like all the normal insecurities that everybody carries. Like now you have to like operate within this paradigm. And I mean, God, how do like people have so little opportunity to actually get to know each other in this context now because. Social media, it viralizes certain kinds of attitudes. So now you get a guy like Andrew Tate, who's sort of like a paradigm for.
He's toxic.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like he's a paradigm for like. But the thing is, aside from his toxicity, my question is like, what does it say that a guy like that is so popular? And secondly, what does it say that a guy like that, while airing out some of the most misogynistic shit I've ever heard in my life, has hundreds of thousands of women that are massively attracted to him and cheer him on and all the rest of it. So that just tells us where we are in our culture. Like I obviously have my theories about it, but
we need to talk about that later. I'm so curious. Or can we say it now? What is your theory on why women would be? Yeah, you should say that now.
I think all of this stuff is just a combination of these people, this generation now, we are the refugees of the sexual revolution. Right. And that's just the long and the short of it. And so now when you have things like body count, so it's like, oh, guys care about body count. Well, in the 90s it was, oh, this is puritanical bullshit. This is religious, just religious ideology. This is not. So like we tried that out for 20 years and it turns out it's not just religious ideology. Right. It turns out most dudes don't want a girl that's had 26 partners. Right. Surprise, surprise. Right. We never have. Mm-hmm. We never have. Mm-hmm. But now, like, we didn't create hookup culture. Like girls have to co-sign that. So what happens in all these like these new iterations of the sexual revolution, it always benefits men's physical desires. And always leaves a woman shorted. So now we're in a context now where there are more women than men. And so now men have the leverage. You hear Kevin Samuels talk about leverage all the time in the social marketplace. Yeah. Well, you don't hear Kevin Samuels talking anymore because he's dead. I was going to say, yeah. And you can check out the way he died if that's a guy that you want to emulate worldview-wise. But like, it just seems to me that all of the societal sort of guardrails we have, and again, anytime you have law, just theoretically speaking, laws are designed to protect the weak from the strong. Okay? Yes. There are very few laws that are designed to protect the strong from the weak. Most laws are designed to protect the weak from the strong. Most societal guardrails are in place. If they're good societies, they're there to protect the weak from the strong. Okay. Societally speaking, economically speaking, and physically speaking, women are weaker than men. So when you have these sexual guardrails like, if you knock her up, you need to marry her, blah, 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 blah. Jordan Peterson gets misinterpreted here, but that paradigm that if you knocked the girl up, you had to marry her, created an environment where sex was a very, very big thing. And you were not talking, you did not see girls with 20 dudes and all the rest of it. And if a girl was going steady with a guy and they did happen to get serious and hook up, they were on the line for it every single time because the cultural expectation was that dude is going to marry you. Well, now you got birth control. And now you've got the 60s. And now you've got, we don't need any of that shit. And dudes were saying, great. Right. Oh, yeah, hell yeah, girl, that's right, pop. Yeah, absolutely, man, fuck all that shit. We ain't puritanical. This is free love, baby. Of course, the dudes were like, I mean, I'll never marry you. I'm gonna marry Sudie the Square. Me
And
you're
have
gonna,
children with her.
We're gonna run around for a couple of years, and we're gonna do whatever. And then when I get this shit out of my system, and I want to be like an adult like everybody else, I'm gonna go marry the church girl, and have kids with her, and never see you again. And so that gets metastasized into insane hookup culture, and then the whole friends with benefits exploration, and all of it always benefited men. It never benefits a woman, never.
Yeah.
I'm talking about on a
Now,
macro
why
scale.
is that?
I'm talking about on a macro scale.
Yeah.
So when all these women's movements were happening, like, and they were converging, like, this is things I wish women understood, like. All these things are conversion. Every single time a new paradigm came up, dudes were celebrating. Like, dudes are like, yeah, man, hell yeah. Abortion, hell yeah. So the pill's my first line of defense. If the condom doesn't work, and you mean to tell me if I don't have to fucking marry this girl, I don't have to commit to her, I don't have to commit anything to her, we could just drive down to the clinic, get rid of it, boom, I'm with it. So this guy is a guy, at the end, he basically says, I'm not going to give my heart to, I'm out, because he's been hurt. He's been hurt a couple times. So he's like, I'm out. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to get married. There's no expectation that I'm going to marry you.
Yep.
And there's no circumstance in which I would ever marry you. So now you have see, back then, when you got hooked up with somebody and you're going steady and you were going to have sex, it was such a big deal. That was absolutely on the table. Like, this is a dude you're going to marry. And if you didn't think you were going to marry him, then you would not have sex with that guy. And as Peter's was talking about, like, the inability to control birth at the time gave women a lot of power.
It gave them some power.
It gave them some power. But now that that's gone, the balance shifts. And it's not benefited women at all. Like, but now it's
amazing
it's not
to
benefiting
me.
men either. And I mean, now the guys have to be this. A Instagrammed, touched up, YouTube filtered version of themselves, not only physically but psychologically even. Like, alpha people are rare.
That was the thing.
The reason, like, you cannot run societies if every third person is an alpha.
Exactly.
Because you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that was like another thing that's like alarming about this time period about, well, even the Chat GPT, or is it
Chat GPT, yeah.
Even that, like, asking it questions and then coming out with like all of these answers, like, it seems to me that people are more able to fake themselves now.
100%.
Because before it was like, if you wanted some information on how to be a certain way or how to look a certain way, where did you get that information? You had to be influenced by what was directly at your fingertips. Now you can look up like you said, you can take little classes on YouTube on how to be an alpha male. It doesn't make you an alpha male. Like, alpha males are born alpha males. So if you can act like an alpha for a smidge of time that looks a certain way, but you're not actually that person. Like, what's that going to do in a relationship as time progresses if you think, oh man. Because an alpha is going to react certain ways in certain situations where a beta is going to do something else. And so I don't know. I just think that it's not even just like the alpha versus beta thing.
Yeah, that's just
lots
that
of
whole
other things,
the whole
like,
concept to me is
people faking stuff.
Because it gives out this idea that there is a kind of personality type that is a leader in every situation he goes into. So, for example, Floyd Mayweather, I'm certain he believes that he's an alpha male. But let me tell you something. If he was up there at 20,000 feet in his private jet, and his private jet was going down, you know what he's going to do? He's going to shut the fuck up and listen to whatever that pilot tells him to do to survive. He's not going to be the alpha male and take control of that situation.
Okay,
If he gets shot, guess what's going to happen? The little nerdy white doctor is going to fucking give him orders. He's going to do whatever the fuck that guy tells him to fucking do. So, like, this idea that, like, oh, there's an alpha male and the guy is a leader everywhere he goes and blah, blah, is ridiculous. It's like, dude, like...
That's true. There's a lot of times where you'll be like, I'm going to default to your, when you're talking to people and stuff like that, and you're, like, very alpha.
Well, you default to the... You default to the wisdom of the expert, but you got dudes that are, like, trying to play a role. So it's like, oh, I'm an alpha, so if I ask this person for help, I've given my alpha male status to this person. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're not a leader in everything. Most of us are super users or expert levels in one or two things, and in those situations, it would probably make the most sense for you to lead. but it's ridiculous. No, I'm not the leader in every situation I go into. There's a bunch of shit that I'm ignorant of that I need help with. Like, I got Franz out there explaining all this pagan Norse shit to me. I'm not that. Have I surrendered my? Like, it's just. But again, it's this ridiculous kind of thinking.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew Tate, like, he's an alpha now. Like, there's some little Romanian prison guard fucking ordering him around, telling him what to do, telling him when to go to the bathroom, telling him this, telling him that. Like, so is he he's no longer an alpha male now? Ridiculous. Because, I mean, just go ahead and Google how men are treated in a Romanian prison, especially a guy like that that's talked so much shit about that country, about how he lived there and likes going around there because they have lax laws against sexual assault and all this type of shit. So how do you think he's been treated in there? I guarantee you it's not been treated. I've never been to an Eastern European prison. I've been in places I would describe as dungeons. But you know, they don't treat you very well over there, and that's the first thing they do is like they make it clear that you have no control over anything. So like you're like a child, like, and they make it clear that those are the power dynamics. So it's like that's a crazy thing to me. Like, as a Christian, I look at these situations and none of these are coincidental to me. So I look at the way that Kevin Samuels went out. Kevin Samuels went out. He was with some 20-something girl. Disgusting. You're fucking in your 50s. Like, when we watch shows now, like, I can't tell if the girl's 20 or if she's 14.
Yeah, they do look like they're very,
you see what I'm saying?
Young. Yeah,
and we're not even
I've
there.
Said that sometimes.
We're not even there, and this dude is 50 going around with 20-year-olds. Okay, because he's living the life, because he's a high-value male, and mashallah, good for you. And then what happened? He caught a heart attack, whatever. The girl didn't do any CPR, did nothing on him. She
dumped him off her?
She dumped him off.
And then said publicly how disgusting it was.
Yeah, it was a disgusting
he was.
Yeah, that's how maybe if he had a wife who knew his physical conditions,
she would have started.
She would have been
CPR,
able to, like,
doing something.
Do the shit that you do, which is, hey, are you taking your pills? You're, the real practical shit that women do that you don't even think about. This motherfucker was running around telling everybody that men don't need women. Yeah, well, I bet you needed a woman then, but you didn't have a woman then. You had a girl with you, and you both of you were not gonna marry each other.
Nope.
There was no love there. She was going with you for status, and you were going with her for ass. Good.
Yep.
So then God struck you down in the fucking worst way possible, and these motherfuckers are still running around like parading this guy as some fucking example. And then who was the next example? I know,
it's like they're not seeing the precautionary tale.
Who was the next
Andrew
example
Tate.
that fucking stepped into his fucking mantle? Andrew Tate.
Yep.
And now he's getting dicked around literally by people out there in a Roman prison talking about how much of an alpha male he is. Listen, they got videos, pictures, all types of shit. You watch. That motherfucker gets out of there, he'd probably get away with he gets out of there, trust me. They got shit on him. He like his whole persona, trust me. Once they leak some pictures and videos and shit, like, people will see, but people still won't get it. There'll be another guy once Andrew Tate loses all that credibility, and people still won't get it. Like, God keeps taking these people out in like the worst way.
Yeah.
In public.
Yeah.
Like, learn the lesson.
Yeah. See, that was the thing. Like, Kevin Samuels, everything was always like on point. His outfits, his table, his desk, his lights, everything was like on 100. Like, everything was like OCD perfect. Mm-hmm. And then like that happens. I remember like when my grandmother passed away, she was very like meticulous about keeping everything, and there was a little smudge on her suit, and we were all like, oh boy, if she knew that, she would have a fit. This guy, look at this situation.
Yeah, God took him out in the most embarrassing way possible.
We all saw him, and
the last commentary on him was like he was disgusting the way he went out.
That's what the girl said, and everybody was reading those reports. No dignity in that, the way that he went out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that this is all bullshit. It's all an illusion. Mm-hmm. It's complete an illusion. Kevin Samuels was a bitter dude. He was a 50-year-old man with a fucking 18, 19-year-old girl he met at some club. The girl had she had no practical knowledge of his health history. Kevin Samuels had serious health issues in his past. Where he said he almost died.
Yes.
So it's like, but if you have a good woman, that's one of the first things that a good woman will do. If you have some sort of medical issue, they will be on your ass. I know that personally. They'll be on your ass. I saw it with my mom. My stepdad was diabetic. I saw it with my mom. I saw it with you. That's what a good fucking, this is the practical everyday shit that a good woman will do. Will save your fucking life, because we won't go, that's why insurance premiums are higher for men. We won't do that. But if you're walking around saying, oh, we don't need women, we don't, blah, 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 it's all about, your sexual marketplace value. Great. Well, that girl had a very high sexual marketplace value, my man. She did. And then that was the end of you. And as you were dying, she had no fucking compassion for you.
And she was a nurse.
Yeah, the girl was a nurse.
She was a nurse. She threw aside her nursing, persona even. And it just dumped him there.
Yeah, exactly. As she should have. Because that's the world he created. He created that world.
Oh, I know.
So
I'm just saying,
she did exactly what the fuck she was supposed to do, and I promise you, she didn't think twice about it. She don't feel bad about it neither, because that's the kind of world that these dudes create, where you just, it's like Neil said, everything is transactional. You just turn everybody into transactional, whatever. You just swipe a card. Well, great. Well, joke's on you. So that motherfucker's dead in a very shameful way, and the other motherfucker's out rotting in a prison in another way. And some moron is gonna try to step into shoot 3, and God's gonna fuck that guy up too. Watch.
You said that he went with her for ass, and she went with him for what?
For status.
For status.
Yeah.
And if he died, that happened to her while she was trying to get the status, that completely demolishes the status, which is probably why she just dumped him off and didn't even think to help him.
Correct.
Was because
there was no more usefulness.
Her goal could not be accomplished.
His marketplace value
dropped, and now she didn't want to.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
You're right. His own system came back and fell on his own head.
Yeah, he fell on your own head.
Why are people? But people aren't seeing it.
So R.I.P. My nigga, you out.
Lord
Then
works in
Andrew Tate
mysterious
comes in.
ways.
R.I.P. to you too, bro. See you later. Yeah,
Lord
you have a video of Andrew Tate out there in his jammies begging some Romanian girl for a piece of bread. You'll see, Mr. Alpha Male. He out there posted on Twitter talking about, oh, they're not gonna take me down, blah blah. Shut the fuck up. You a hoe in there, bro. Come on, man. Anyway, I didn't think this song was gonna go in this direction, but relationships are tough. I'm very happy I have you. I don't take you for granted.
And I'm very happy I have you.
All you lonely people out there, holy shit, fucking hunker down. Doesn't look good. All right.
Oh my God, babe.
What do you give the song?
9.
DJ AT in the house. Shout out to my homie. I'm gonna give this song a 9.4. I really like the way that he explained the perspective. Like, even though, like, I don't think that he was bragging here. I just think that this is like him saying, like, yo.
Oh, I don't think he was bragging.
Yeah, like, this is a bad situation. Like, this is a fucked up situation men and women are in right now in the dating pool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, there you go. We're happy to have you too, Davey J. For show. We have one more song, guys. One more song for you beautiful people. And we shall be right back. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vinand Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A channel shall lead them.
So buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Look, man, I'm going to say something. The person we're doing this birthday stream for is the big homie Neil.
Shout out to Neil.
It's been one of our OGs.
Come on camera with us. With a little bit of whiskey.
A little bit of whiskey. He had a very brilliant strategy last year, getting his songs reviewed.
Yes, he
Made
did.
for an interesting car ride for me and Sori last year.
Yes, it did.
But he's the one that does.
He's also one of our alliance leaders.
He's an alliance leader. He just does a lot of things, and I shout people out here and there. I don't shout Neil out a lot, but
It's true, and he's been around like
he's
so
been an OG.
long.
Yes, that's why to take some time
Yeah.
and recognize Nick as being part of the community and being important to us.
Neil.
Yeah. So shout out to Neil. 22 for Neil.
Shout out to Neil.
No, I mean that, bro. I mean that honestly, dude. Like, you've been around. You know, it's because Neil has never really gone off on me. He's never gone crazy on me and stuff like that. Most of the time, like,
Yeah.
you know, like a Ben Webb, things like that. That's kind of like how it's kind of like getting jumped in with the gang.
Yeah.
So because he's such a good dude, like, you know, he kind of gets overlooked a lot. But I love you, buddy. I'm glad you're here.
So Neil,
I like your taste in music, my guy.
You're not mean enough, Neil.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, you know. It's a squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know, every time I see Ben, I go, oh, that poor kid. You know, he's on his way to hell in a handbasket. Shout out to Ben Webb.
Shout out to Ben.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the homie. See, we need people like that to balance out the force, though.
I agree.
You need some Neils. You can't just you can't just be Ben Webbs all the time. You know,
Yeah.
I had Michelle in there yesterday. Poor Michelle. Ben was doing his thing.
Oh God.
You're a coward. All types of
She's
shit.
having a hard time right now.
I know.
Gosh.
She's having like some like
She's
the,
told everybody.
the worst time of her life.
Like, how did you miss that, Ben?
Ben, what the
God.
fuck is wrong with you?
Didn't he try to convince us he was in a relationship?
No comment. I'm not gonna comment on that.
I don't
All right.
believe that's gonna work if you keep up with that attitude. Treating people like that.
It's fucking bad.
All right, you guys.
One Last Dance by Ulver is the name of the
let me
band.
see. Alas, with every party, it has come to an end, and at some point we are near approaching it. To close the night off, I've picked a song that plays when you're finding out who you're going home with at the end of the night of partying. You've heard of songs from this band before as, how did you say it? Ulver? Were very important to second wave black metal in the 90s, but I suspect you'll be surprised to hear what they sound like more recently, as this track is from 2020. Oh, okay.
All right. Luminous, to answer your previous question, I think it's evolved.
What's evolved?
That's a good question. He's asked if my Christianity has evolved based on my, research into consciousness and things like that.
Yeah, it has.
And
it has. You're always bringing up verses that you're like, ah.
Yeah, it definitely makes you look at a lot of things differently, for sure. But it's why...
It's still currently messing with my mind.
That's why I say, like, in the new world we'll have scientists, but we won't have preachers. Mm-hmm. The science is unbelievably amazing.
Yeah, but...
It's just like that conversation I had with you yesterday. It's like, you think that chair is standing still, but...
Yeah, but
that's
it's
also
currently...
a phenomenological hallucination. Mm-hmm. It's moving around, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I don't know. Let's go. One Last Dance.
All right.
That's kind of sad. One Last Dance, but it's our last song.
One Last Dance over.
I feel a little bit sad about that.
This picture is not very encouraging either.
Oh,
One
no.
Last Dance. Go.
seen the burden God has laid upon the human race. All the oppression that has taken place under the sun. He tests us so that we may see we're just like the animals. I'll go to the same place. I'll come from dust and to dust return. What can we do other than work, sleep, and do the best we can? People's hearts are full of evil, and no one knows whether love or hate awaits. If two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? God's in heaven and you're on earth, so let your words be few. We are wolves under the moon. This is our song. We have love and we have lost. We're ready to go. Oh, one last dance in this burning church. We search the ruins, slain but standing. 1,000 lambs, the holy mountain, the sleeping lions, on burning sand, the smell of blood, eternal war. We are wolves. This is our song. We're ready to go. Oh, one last dance. One last dance.
This is my jam, Neil. Okay.
Oh my God.
This is going on my song list for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Over One Last Dance. Holy shizzle.
Unbelievable.
You go first.
Well, okay, so at first I didn't recognize it as like a kind of like a change of like Ecclesiastes. I was like, when we got to the part he tests us that we may see we're just like the animals, I was like, no on that. What does Ecclesiastes say at that point? Because but then he goes on to say, all go to the same place.
Ecclesiastes 3 actually does kind of say hold on. Pretty sure it's Ecclesiastes 3.
Because that part was kind of curious to me. Then he says, all go to the same place, all come from dust and to dust return. But again, even like, then when you said it was Ecclesiastes, I was like, oh, because Ecclesiastes is, this is from his perspective. Mm-hmm. So everything that he says doesn't necessarily mean it is like dogma truth. Like, it's the guy's perspective of what he was experiencing and what he felt at the time.
Yeah, see right here?
Didn't say anything about the animals?
Yeah. For I said in my heart with regard to the children of man that God is testing them.
Yeah.
That they may see that they themselves are but beasts.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So, that's why I said that. This is almost a literal quote, word for word of Ecclesiastes.
For what happens to the children
For what happens to the children of man, what happens to the beast is the same. As one dies, so dies the other. They all have the same breath. And man has no advantage over the beast, for all is vanity. Mm-hmm. All go to one place. All are from the dust, and to dust they shall return.
Yeah.
Who knows whether the spirit of man goes upward and the spirit of the beast goes down into the earth? So I saw that there's nothing better than a man should rejoice in his work, for this is his lot. Who can bring him to see what will be there after him? Mm-hmm. So that's what I was saying. Like, this is like,
I
was like, this is Ecclesiastes. It was basically a combination of Ecclesiastes 3, which is what I just read, and then 4. But yeah, that's almost a word for word reading. Like, if two lie down together, they will keep warm.
Then I saw it. Oh yeah. But how can one keep warm alone?
That's Ecclesiastes 4. That's what that famous 3 chords are not easily broken.
Yes, right, yeah.
And then God's in heaven and you're on earth, so let your words be few. That's also in Ecclesiastes. So like the first 1, 2, 3 verses were damn near literal word for word quotes in Ecclesiastes.
This part. So I was reading the other lyrics around because I was just like, wow, yeah, that is blah blah blah. But if I want to go back through and listen to this part being done. When he said, when I read these lyrics, I was like, we searched the ruins, slain but standing, 1,000 lambs, the holy mountain, the sleeping lions on burning sands, the smell of blood, eternal war.
Yeah,
it was just like, that is friggin' beautiful.
Unbelievable.
I just
lyricism.
love it. Yeah, I love that style.
Lyricism is crazy.
Because it was like poetic in there, like in a different sort of way. Anyway, wow. So yeah, you took that as all Ecclesiastes as well.
When he talks about the wolves under the moon and all that, that's him. That's him writing.
Well, what do you make of that part?
Well, because human beings are inherently predatory. But if you think about Ecclesiastes, what's a constant theme?
Nothing
under
is
the
new
sun,
under the sun. Yeah.
Under the sun. Mm-hmm. So you go up here in verse 1, he's quoting under the sun right there. All the oppression that has taken place under the sun. Mm-hmm. And then when he starts writing his own lyrics, he talks about us being under the moon.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, okay.
But think about it in our context and in our culture, we're dark. Mm-hmm. So under the sun is associated with the daytime.
Yeah.
So his version of Ecclesiastes has everything happening under the moon.
Yeah.
Because he's dark. Right? Like the mindset is dark. And Kel was saying like there's like this like undercurrent, like proto-foundational darkness in the song itself that you don't necessarily you're not able to pick out per se.
Yes.
But it's
But the other music is just like kind of up above it. So then I don't know. It just creates like it was like two layers to it where you felt that like it was had like this sort of like exciting feel to it and sound, but then it also had like that underlying darkness. And I don't know if it was like, I guess you could say there was some synth in there and stuff.
Yeah. So the writing I just thought was just absolutely brilliant, and apparently over actually means wolf.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, you know, in Ecclesiastes we're operating under the sun, and in this guy's world we're operating under the moon, and we're wolves under the moon, which is a good kind of analogy for humans because we're apex predators, but we also run in packs. We don't like being alone, and so because we function under the moon. It's a really, really good metaphor.
And I also think that there's like some poetry to a howling wolf at the moon, like when a wolf is doing that.
Yeah.
And like I don't even know why they do that. I don't know what the reason is behind what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it does have a certain like sad, lonely poetry, but beauty to it when the wolf is doing that.
Yeah, it's
So-
interesting because he says.
This is our song. We're the wolves under the moon. This is our song.
Right.
We've loved
We've
and
loved,
we've
we've
lost.
Yeah.
We're ready to go on one last dance in this
burning church. Yeah. Which is a very interesting way of talking about the world. You know, he's talking about the world as a burning church.
One last dance, is it kind of like the one more spin around the...
Yeah. It's his way of talking about, you know, our experience on this planet together as a human family, or maybe more specifically the band. But when he says burning church, I think he's talking about like the whole world, because we're eventually going to go into heat death anyway, right? So there's a sense in which you know, but so there's a sense in which the church is on fire right now, right? The earth is on fire right now. It's just a brilliant I always wondered to myself why no metal bands picked up on the book of Ecclesiastes, because it's incredibly modern sounding. Like, all I'm here to do is work.
Yeah.
You know, like there's nothing new. It's very pessimistic, very modern sounding, but it's not like rah, like behemoth type metal. It's more like it's like this perfect.
Yeah.
Like, but I was always surprised that more. I'm like,
I agree. It's like, it's so easy. It's right there. Grab it.
I was in Middle America. Somebody posted something. It was a Freud quote about how like the essence of religion is not questioning anything. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, you have entire books that are.
You almost made me spit that out.
You have entire books that are about questioning everything. Like Ecclesiastes itself. The book is there to challenge literally every single biblical paradigm. Like, you didn't even know it was Ecclesiastes, so you disagreed with it.
Yeah.
God tests us to reveal to us that we're nothing but beasts. You're like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's because that book is there to go after, is there to blow up every single, you know, religious presupposition that is established by the Bible itself. Like, people have no idea what they're talking about when they're talking about, like, the Bible. It's like, it's mind-blowing to me. It's like, what do you mean there's no questions? Like, like what? Have you read Job? Like,
I mean, if you read, even if you read like Jesus's interactions with people, the majority of it is questions.
Yeah, challenging and 100% time. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
So, what this part when he said, okay, so that was in this burning church. It says, "We searched the ruins, slain but standing 1,000 lambs, the holy mountain, the sleeping lions, on burning sands, the smell of blood, eternal war." Is he saying, like, that after all of this, like, it's after all of it and everything, like, just like crumbles, what's going to be left? Like, is he saying that religion and then that sort of stuff is kind of like going to be just ruins? I mean, when he says 1,000 lambs, like, where's that come from? Like, our religion has a lamb that was slain. What do you mean 1,000 lambs?
Well,
what do you think he's trying to communicate here? Because he does say the smell of blood and eternal war.
Judaism and Christianity are not the only religions that have lamb as a sacrificial animal. So the Egyptians did, the Mesopotamians did, Babylonians did to some degree. So I just think that the lamb is almost a universally recognized sacrificial animal. So when I take this to control all the rest of it. So we search the ruins, slain but standing. That's human nature, because all human societies are essentially just a result of one war after another. We can't get along with anybody. Like I was watching the there was a scene where this vegan is at this farm, and so she has all these judgments because she's a vegan and she's all righteous, and it's like, oh, what was this dove doing when you murdered him, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but as a vegan, you're still killing living things to eat, and it is not obvious that those plants are not conscious. There's literally there are multiple scholarly documents right now that do say that plants are conscious, that they don't like being eaten, that they try to escape, they try to camouflage themselves, all types of shit to stay alive.
Not to mention all of the animals that get killed when they're rototilling and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, the animals that get killed when they're rototilling and all the rest of it. And it was just like, or like the batteries for the filament for the battery cars. I forgot what the specific compound was, but basically it's another thing that is like to mine it is destroying the environment, and B, we're once again committing atrocities because surprise, surprise, a lot of those things are in Africa. So it's like, so I'm watching this woman like with her Prius and her whatever, and like all the animals that had to die for her to have her vegan thing, and just the fact that you're also killing, and it's like, it's a very strange paradigm. Bernardo Kastrup, like, it seems kind of obvious, but it's a strange paradigm to realize that in order to live, things have to die consistently. Yeah. Things have to die consistently in order for us to live. But we kill those beings and consume them, knowing full well that no matter what we do, we're going to end up dying anyway. So he's like, yo, what is going on here? Like, and so, obviously Kastrup is an idealist, and so he's saying, these are things that represent something.
Yep.
These are concepts, because in Kastrup's mind, it's the universe is trying to figure itself out by creating these kind of scenarios and things like that. So he's processing, like, figuring shit out. So, for example, with the Big Bang, Kastrup's idea is that there's this one mind at large, right, who always existed, but obviously he's by himself, and so he essentially gets multiple personality, like literally, like multiple personality disorders, and that's where you get other consciousnesses from. They were just alters of the one major consciousness. Okay.
And he does that to understand himself. That's the whole idea.
Well, yeah, he's trying to reintegrate himself with himself in sort of a union perspective. Like, he's trying to reintegrate all of these alters back to himself. So that's what happens when somebody dies, is that particular personality gets reintegrated back into himself. But then simultaneous to that, there's a birth, and that's another moment of disassociation for this being. So he's constantly integrating and disintegrating at the same time in the death and birth cycle. Wow. And so what Kastrup is saying is, take, for example, a concept like the Big Bang, where boom, you have nothing, and then boom, everything explodes. He said that doesn't make any logical sense. And people always ask, what was before the Big Bang? He's like, that's obviously the logical question. He's like, there is no logical answer to that. And he said, the reason that the mind at large thought up the Big Bang was because it's trying to understand itself, because it came into existence essentially spontaneously.
Okay.
Right? So he then reflects on, when he's reflecting on that, the Big Bang is a reverberation of this mind at large reflecting on its own spontaneous existence. Right? So it's just really, really fascinating stuff to think about. So when you're thinking about the world and this world is a burning church, like what does it tell you? That you have to maintain life by killing, and then on top of that, you know that you're spinning ever closer every second to an inevitable heat death.
Yeah.
What does that mean about life and its value, and life under the sun, and being a wolf, and loving and losing? Like all of those things have implications on life on this planet, or life under the moon. Instead of Ecclesiastes, where life is under the sun. I mean, both bands are both bands. I mean, both texts are pretty pessimistic.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes in these guys' lyrics.
For sure.
I just thought it was brilliant for him to say under the moon, wool. I just thought it was great. Like his portrayals of humanity. So it says, we searched the ruins slain but standing 1,000 lambs. I think that has to do with like all the people that we've killed in the name of whatever, because we've always, every time we go to war, there's always a justification for it. When I say we, I'm talking about like the human family.
Yep.
That we're always going to justify our wars. And so when it says 1,000 lambs, I think that's talking about like just the justified sacrifices of like defenseless people. Because that's one of the, that's one of the markers of lambs, right? Is they're just defenseless, but they get sacrificed all the time. So it's like everywhere you go, because that whole stanza ends with eternal war. It's like the holy mountain, the sleeping lions on burning sands. It's just like all the things that we do to dress up war at the end of the day. It's the smell of blood and eternal war. Yeah. Like these are all romanticized terms. Ruins, slain but standing, 1,000 lambs, holy mountain, whereas like in Metallica, for a hill men would kill, why did you not know? So that line makes it sound like that's a really ridiculous thing to do, is kill somebody over a hill. But then when you make it sacred, you call it a holy mountain, then it kind of, again, justifies. You see what I'm saying? It's like, no, it wasn't a holy mountain, it was a killing field. That's what that was. You see what I'm saying? And then so when Metallica says it, it's like, yeah, this is ridiculous. 4 hill men would kill. Why did you? Yeah, like, what the hell are we doing? Yeah. But the people that want you to go to war are never going to tell you that. They're never going to tell you we're going to send your 16-year-old with all the promise and all the future that you thought for him. We're gonna grind that boy's brains into the sand because we're gonna want him to fight for a 16-foot hill. They're not gonna do that. Right. So they gotta make it sound sacred what the fuck they did to that kid. You see what I'm saying? So he uses all this sacred language, but then the last 2 lines are the smell of blood, eternal war. It's like, no, man, this is not anything beautiful or whatever. It's nasty. But yeah. This band is unbelievable. This, unfortunately, I said the other song was a song of the night for me, but this is actually a song of the night for me.
This is a song of the night for me as
this is a 10.
Yeah. I was giving it a 10 as well.
This is a 10 as well. Like, it's, I mean, that was just such a good song. I like the other song, too. But this one was just, I like that 80s
This one took
shit.
a number of transitions too. Like it didn't sound like the same song at the beginning as it changed.
Yeah,
it changed into different things.
They didn't try to do anything dumb with it either, though. So I appreciate that.
But it was really beautiful. I really liked it.
I love the lyrics.
I'm adding this to the song list for sure. Sure.
I'm gonna be listening.
Best
to this
for last, Neil. Yeah, you knew.
I'm gonna listen to this all night tonight.
Yeah,
actually.
we should go in and put that on.
No bullshit. I really am.
So we have 2 options. One, we go back and we watch the documentary of that cult.
Oh, the cult. Yeah.
And then the other one is, you just put the cool lights on and just stare at the ceiling and
Phase
listen
out.
to this.
Phase
and
out.
Listen to this one.
Yo, Neil, bro, I'm glad you were born, my boy. I'm glad you were born. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you shared the day. I'm glad you shared the day with us. You shared a little bit too much about how you sing these songs in the shower and shit. You play air guitar in the shower. That was not a very good visual for me. I'm going to go ahead.
Why did you visualize it?
Well, he fucking said it. Like, don't look at the pink elephant, right? You have a pink elephant in your head right now, or the green elephant. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly. He did that. He did that. Okay.
What?
What?
Well, you said so I thought you were gonna announce something. Anyway, Neil, thank you so much for this. This is the parting. I guess everybody has decided who they're going home with. You're coming home with me?
Yes. I'm coming home with you.
Because the party is over, unfortunately. You said that you had a little announcement at the end.
Yeah, but I decided against it. I decided against the little announcement.
Well, why don't you end with that new little thing?
Oh, okay. So
I thought that's what it was.
We'll end with a new little thing, dear listener. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. Happy birthday, Neil. Love you, buddy.
Bye.
Our Amazon account is up and running now. We are selling our formula officially. It's amazing stuff from Europe.
Made in Germany. Sold in America.
highest standards there are. In America, the standards haven't been updated since 1980. It's super weird, like older than me. In Europe, they update safety standards basically every year. This formula is top notch, great for the stomach, great for constipation. This is a great product. If you happen to want to purchase it and join us on our journey, then grab the link in the description. If you do and leave a review for us, send me a screenshot at vinandsori@gmail.com of your review after you have received the product. We will put your name in a hat. Song reviews are going to come out by some of the people that have left reviews. Don't forget to send us a screenshot of your review once you get the product. Now a word from our mascot dressed as a pirate, Fuji.
It's a seal of